While we were away, Mark D'Antonio coming out of the tunnel with the Spartans with number 54, fifth-year senior fullback Josh Rouse, who suffered a neck injury in the opening win over Western Michigan. He had successful surgery this week, and he's happy to come out here and walk out here with a smile on his face as he's one of the honorary captains tonight for the Spartans in a series that goes back 112 years. Notre Dame has the lead, including what they've done here in East Lansing, but the visiting team has done very well over the last 9 games, and they always seem to be close. And as we look back to just a year ago, that was the very case. As Kirk Cousins had his team on the drive and ill-advised throw with less than a minute to go, Notre Dame with the interception. They go on to win 33-30. And Kirk talked with us about that this week, and he said, I watched the film on Monday of that game, then I put it behind me, used it as a learning curve more than looking back and thinking about the disaster that was that last minute.
Yeah, but I wonder how many times he woke up in the middle of the night in a cold sweat seeing it.
Exactly.
Played over and over again. Chance to redeem himself tonight.
Notre Dame won the toss. They want the football. They will receive. Sayre Wood and Theo Riddick will await the kick. And a full house at Spartan Stadium tonight. In fact, the largest crowd ever in this series was 20 years ago this week. It was against Notre Dame. The Irish at that time were ranked #1 in the country. And we're underway. It'll be Wood from the 4. And down he goes at the 24. Notre Dame, as we take a look at the starting lineup and what will be in front of Dane Christ, their junior quarterback. Here's the big eaters up front: Martin and Stewart, Cave, Robinson, and Dever. The backs and receivers: Armando Allen off to a good start this year. T.J. Jones, Riddick, and Michael Floyd, the wideouts, and a great tight end in Kyle Rudolph, who had a huge gain a week ago. Chris in the spread from the 24-yard line. Plenty of time, little crossing pattern, and big hit by Eric Gordon on Theo Riddick defensively for the Spartans. Up front in the 4-3, Hoover, Worthy, Pickleman, and Neely. Linebackers, we already saw one hit by Gordon with Jones and Norman. And the secondaries: Adams, Robinson, Hyde, and Rucker. Notre Dame quickly to offense, and the throw out complete to Jones, and just a little bit shy of the first down.
You know, when this offense is in full gear with Brian Kelly and full maturity, they will go at a quick tempo a lot. They're not quite there yet, although that second play was a little quicker tempo than they've shown in their first 2 ball games. They'll do it in spots, but not all the time.
That's Rudolph, the tight end. On the move as Allen gets the call, the first down, and about 3 extra. Greg Jones made the stop. Armando Allen, the senior, out of Opelika, Florida. Great receiver, as well as a runner that's coming into his own.
I think where he's coming into his own this year is as a power runner. He's a much more physical runner this season than at any other point in his career.
You see him go out as a wide receiver to the top of your screen now as it's an empty backfield. On first down, Notre Dame, its own 37. They throw the slip screen out to him, and he's going to pick up about 8.
You mentioned a receiver. That's his 105th career reception now as a Notre Dame football player. So a very versatile guy. He was a great track guy in high school, and he was just more of a flash runner early in his career and much more physical now.
He's only 5 catches away from Darius Walker's all-time mark, in fact, for Notre Dame receptions by running back. Second down and 3. Christ looks left, goes that way, complete again. Riddick's got this one, and he's got another first down. And speaking of great running backs and receivers, this guy was a running back a year ago.
Yeah, he's still learning how to play receiver. They need to have more productivity out of their slot receiver. What's happened now is Michigan State not able to flip their corners. They like to play one guy, their bigger corner, into the boundary. That time Rucker was stuck in the field because of the tempo.
First down, Notre Dame on their opening drive, just shy of midfield. Christ, quick swing pass out to Rudolph. Better get on the ball just in case. It's incomplete.
That's a bad throw by Dane Christ. When you've got a receiver running like that, especially a big tight end, you don't want him to have to reach up or reach back. Rudolph is an excellent receiver, but give him that ball in front where he can catch it and turn that big body upfield.
So second down at 10. Notre Dame. Opening couple of minutes of the ball game from East Lansing, Michigan. Quarterback draw. Christ got about 3. The only problem with that is, we mentioned earlier, you do that too many times, you might get your quarterback hurt. Now we got flags at the end of the play. Referee, Jerry McGinn.
After the play, personal foul, offense.
Chris Stewart, the big left guard, with the penalty.
It's a pretty costly penalty. It's now 3rd and very long for Notre Dame. They had some momentum, had a good drive going. And a costly penalty from a guy you wouldn't expect it to come from.
A guy that's going to law school. He didn't state his case very well there. Now the crowd comes to life on 3rd down and 22. Notre Dame, the first 2 games this season, 38% on their 3rd down conversions. Quick throw and a crossing pattern by Rudolph, but he only got about 6. Greg Jones, the inside linebacker, and Gordon are there. Those two work so well in tandem, so Notre Dame had something working. Now they're going to have to give it up and punt it away. Ben Turk comes in to punt. He's not a guy that you can return punts on very often. He's got great hang time. You look at his statistics over his time as a punter, part of last year and now this year. 6 punts is all that have been returnable. Keyshawn Martin hoping to get his hands on one. And this one's going to bound down inside the 20-yard line. And it'll roll dead at about the 16. 41-yard kick, no return. Will return, though, with the Spartans and Kirk Cousins of Michigan State on offense for the first time tonight. Dane Christ and Notre Dame had something working before that penalty stopped their drive and forced the punt. Now Michigan State takes over with their run-oriented offense that comes in with an average of 261 a game through the first 2 weeks. Baker, the tailback, and he'll get the call. And Edwin Baker back to the line of scrimmage. And that's about it. So we take a look at the starting lineups for the Spartans of Michigan State. Up front, Young, Foreman, Steve Pack, McDonald, and J. Michael Dean. And the backs and receivers, Baker, the starter behind Benzik, the fullback, Nickel, and Keyshawn Martin, the wideouts with Charlie Gant. Those wide receivers, Mark Dell, B.J. Cunningham, Nickel, and Martin will all rotate throughout this ball game. Second down along 9. Quick throw out in the flat to Martin. Broke 1 tackle, got across the 25, picked up 5. Zeke Mata made the stop defensively for Notre Dame. And the Irish on their front wall, Johnson, Williams, and Lewis Moore. Linebackers Fleming, Calabrese, Teo, and Neal. And in the back end, Wall, Smith, Mata, who just made that tackle, and Gary Gray.
You know, a lot of people look at the numbers and say, wow, Notre Dame's going to really struggle against this running game the way they did against Michigan last week. But a different running style, more suited to the Notre Dame defense than what they faced last week.
Yeah, not chasing Denard Robinson all over the yard. And now it's Cousins all alone in the backfield with 4 wide receivers going deep, and tipped and knocked away, intended for Keith Nickel. And it was Gary Gray covering.
And Gary Gray made a nice play. There was some confusion in the Notre Dame defense right before the snap. Some guys running to the other side of the formation, but Cousins not able to set his feet and make an accurate throw. Calabrese, the linebacker, gets in on a rush and forces him to throw off his back foot, and then Gray able to knock the ball away.
Due to time constraints, we now move ahead in the scheduled program.
Notre Dame offensively from its own 20-yard line. Sierra Wood joins Christ in the Notre Dame backfield. He gets his first call of the night. And it's only about a 2-foot gain, I should say. We talked about Dane Christ, injured a week ago. It happened on this 19-yard run the first time, and he actually stayed in the ball game for several more plays, including a touchdown dive. And then he came out and couldn't see very well out of one of his eyes, and they kept him out of the ball game, and that forced Nate Montana to come in, the backup quarterback, and Notre Dame sputtered on offense until Chris came back in the second half. Here he is to throw. He throws a dart this time, and the ball on the ground. Let's see.
I think he got it back anyway. Even if it was a fumble, I think he got it back, Michael Floyd.
But we've got Eric Gordon down too, face down for Michigan State.
Now that time Michael Floyd went after the football.
And there he reaches out with those long arms and drags it back underneath him.
It's really a nice job by Chris L. Rucker to not give up on the play and keep fighting for the football.
The thing I'm worried about right now is the senior quarterback, Eric Gordon, who is face down and has not moved after being part of that tackle. One of their leaders, a senior, out of Traverse City, Michigan, making his 30th career start tonight. And he and Greg Jones have been inseparable in that linebacking core, both making their 30th start. They hang out together, they sit next together in meetings, they tackle people together. And he was part of that collision right there. And you see Greg is looking on, as is Mark D'Antonio, who's come out to have a look at his senior linebacker.
Well, they're both great leaders. Now the good news for Michigan State is the guy behind him, John Mish, is also a senior who has got a lot of playing experience. And he'll be coming into the game, but Eric Gordon, one of the real leaders of this Spartan defense.
You look at the last 4 years together, and Gordon and Jones, 379 tackles for one, 258 for the other, and they've combined for 24 sacks and a lot of tackles for loss. So he's a big part of that defense, and comes out, and hopefully he'll be back in there. But right now he looks kind of like a guy that went to happy hour and then waited until last call.
I think he might have got kicked in the head there at the end of that play.
Throw incomplete, intended for Riddick.
It's the second one of those little swing passes or bubble screens that the quarterback has put on the wrong side of his receiver. Again, that's a quick hitting play, and you want that guy, the receiver, to be able to keep his eyes on the defense to see where his blocks are and where an opening might be. And if he has to turn the other way to find the football, it really disrupts the timing of that play.
So second down and 10. We're just under 7 minutes remaining in the first quarter. Christ looks right, comes back on the slip screen to Riddick. Riddick broke a tackle in the open field, showing his running back skills, and he's got a first down all the way out to midfield. And more, Brian Kelly says, we want to get this guy involved in this offense.
Well, obviously, he's a great run after the catch guy because he was a converted running back, and so you get him the football quickly and let him just make some miss in space.
And again, they hustle to the line on a first down at midfield. Christ, plenty of time. Going to go deep on the sideline to Floyd. Diving attempt, but he couldn't come up with it.
But that's what they've got to do, though, Brad.
Yeah.
They've got to throw it up for him and let him make a chance to go after the ball. He's a big body, 6'3", 227 pounds. He's going to out-muscle most cornerbacks that he goes against, and you got to give him some shots down the field to make a play.
John Goodman takes Floyd's spot as a wide receiver on second down and 10. Christ again can scan the field. Got it to Rudolph, the tight end. Another first down inside the 35 to the 33. 17 more yards.
Way too much room for Rudolph. He just worked behind the linebacker. Watch him work behind the linebacker, Norman, and finds the opening before the safeties can get to him. And that's an easy throw and catch for Dane Christ.
And then Rudolph delivers the blow on the other end. Trenton Robinson and Marcus Hyde brought him down. But that collision occurred at the 33-yard line. I think Rudolph got the best of it. Notre Dame takes a timeout.
30 seconds.
5:55 remaining in the quarter.
You know, it's interesting when the silver lining last week when Dane Christ was out for the whole first half, or most of it, after the opening touchdown drive. Brian Kelly said when he came to the sideline and he was able to watch the game from the sideline, he started to see things a little bit better and a little more clearly in terms of the progressions and the reads. And when he went back out in the second half, Brian Kelly thought he played much better than he had the rest of the season. So they lost the game. The comeback fell short. But in terms of the development of his quarterback, it was very valuable.
And Nate Montana was the guy that took most of the snaps. Joe and Jennifer, mom and dad, looking on here at Spartan Stadium.
I'm going to venture to say, I don't know where Jennifer's from, but I'm guessing West Coast. Joe's a Pennsylvania guy.
Yeah.
Got this shirt on with a T-shirt. Jennifer's got the parka on in September.
Nice to see Joe's getting gray, too. I like that. First and 10, Notre Dame. Deep out. Rudolph, the intended receiver, didn't quite get his head turned around, and it was a little too far in front of him. Let's check in with Holly.
Well, guys, over here on the sideline, they're putting ice on the back of the neck of linebacker Eric Gordon. He's also got a slight cut or scratch under his chin that he's got blood coming from. He's been evaluated for a head injury. They're asking him some questions, and I can't hear what they're asking him, but several times he's just been like, I don't know. I don't know. So they're still trying to evaluate whether he'll be able to come back in.
Thanks, Holly. I say some things like that to Todd up here, and he says the same thing. I don't know. I don't know. Second and 10. Nice throw and catch. Rudolph with about 4 Spartan defenders around it.
Well, right now, the problem, now there's a flag down, it looks like, but the problem for Michigan State is
Personal foul. Defense, number 36. Roughing the passer. After distance to the goal. Automatic. First down.
that's John Mish, who came in for Gordon. The problem for Michigan State right now is they are not getting any pressure on Dane Christ. And he is feeling very comfortable throwing the football because the offensive line is doing an outstanding job of giving him time. This is after the throw, and clearly a late hit by Mish.
And right now, Christ is getting it in chunks. That pickup was 17 yards plus the penalty. They had 3 17-yard pass plays just on this drive. And now they've got it first and goal. Christ lob to the corner to Floyd, and he's got it. Touchdown. Michael Floyd on the fade, and Notre Dame strikes first.
They got the matchup they wanted. Floyd on Johnny Adams, the smaller of the corners. Top of your screen, 6'3" against 5'10", and it's a mismatch and a touchdown for Notre Dame.
Ledge, I thought he mistimed his jump there, but he hung in there long enough to get it. An impressive drive for Notre Dame. 80 yards in 9 plays. Extra point by Ruffers, up and good. So Christ was very sharp on that entire drive, and once he got set up with first and goal, went to one of his favorite targets, Floyd, for the touchdown. Good looking Notre Dame drive. Went the length of the field, 80 yards of it anyway, in 9 plays. Mixed it up pretty well. Rudolph became a big factor, as did Floyd, for the final 7 yards for the touchdown.
That front 5 for Notre Dame really did a great job of keeping their quarterback clean on that possession. He had time to scan the field, to go through his progressions, and hit different targets all the way down the field.
David Ruffer set to kick off. Keyshawn Martin and Le'Veon Bell are back deep. Deep kick. Martin's going to have to backpedal 5 yards into the end zone and take a knee. So the Spartans, they've been sputtering on offense. They'll work from their own 20-yard line. The Spartans of Michigan State, let's see if they get their ground game going a little bit. So far, they haven't. They put Bell in there to start this drive. Bell, a true freshman. He gets the carry. And he's met head-on by the Notre Dame defense after a pickup of 2.
See, early season numbers, statistics can be really misleading. You know, Michigan State came into this ball game averaging 261 yards per rush, almost 8 yards per carry. Didn't matter who was running it, whichever one, Bell or Baker. But Western Michigan and Florida Atlantic don't have the kind of physical bodies that Notre Dame has when it comes to stopping the run.
And of course, Notre Dame was struggling against the run, and tonight they've been stout, at least through most of this quarter. Spartans keep 2 tight ends in there. One of them, Gant, is on the move. And Bell, again, maybe 4. It'll bring up 3rd down and 4.
See, Notre Dame and Bob Diaco, their defensive coordinator, will be thrilled if Michigan State wants to continue to play the game between the hashes, because that doesn't expose his team's weakness, which is a lack of overall speed. They've got size. They got 4 linebackers at 240 plus. So they got some thumpers in there. But if you get them out in space, that's where they might have some problems. But right now, they're holding their own just nicely.
Spartans 0 for 2 on 3rd down so far. 3rd down and 4 here. The extra wide receiver, and again, the tight end Gant will set up on the left side. Here's the throw, and it's complete, and it's a 1st down to B.J. Cunningham. That time Cousins didn't hesitate at all and fired it in there for a 1st down.
Cunningham is a big body, 6'2", 220, big physical guy, gets matched up on Darren Walls, and it's just like in basketball when you're boxing out for a rebound. Just get your body between your man and the ball's delivered right to the numbers.
Bell stays in as a tailback. On 1st and 10, Michigan State just inside its own 35-yard line. Here's the stretch play to Bell. Got to the corner, but still only got about 3 yards out of it. Darren Walls knocked him off his feet.
They've been really happy with Le'Veon Bell. I mean, they knew he was a big-time recruit out of Reynoldsburg, Ohio. He came in early, graduated early from high school, enrolled in January, and just got to go through spring and really was able to step in, especially with the injury to Caper, really step in and give a good 1-2 punch with Edwin Baker right away this season.
There's Caper. We'll see him tonight. He's been nursing a hand injury. We expect him to be out there sometime before this one's over. 2nd down and 7. Here's the toss to Bell. Looking for a block from his wide out. He got it. Got to midfield and more. Best run of the night for Michigan State. A pickup of 19.
The last 2 runs have been the best plays for Michigan State in the running game because they've run outside. They didn't just try to pound it inside. They got outside the defense on the perimeter a little bit.
Holding. Offense. Number 7.
All coming back.
Spotting infraction. 2nd down.
Keith Nickel, the wide receiver, the guilty party. Former quarterback in his own right, and good sized one. They were talking about how good a blocker he was. He's too good a blocker there, I guess.
Well, the left hand just got outside on the jersey. I mean, you got to keep your hands in, and the left hand was on the back of the white jersey, and a very easy call for the official.
So that backs it up inside the 45.
But I think Michigan State has found a little something in their ability to get outside. Now, 2nd and short, they might pound it up inside to get a 1st down, but getting the ball to the perimeter will work in their favor.
Spot foul makes it 2nd down and about 2 feet. Baker back in there, and Edwin's got a 1st down. And he gets it out to midfield as we check in with Holly.
Well, Keith Nickel is a remarkable story. He was a quarterback backing up Sam Bradford at Oklahoma. Didn't think he'd get much playing time there, so he transferred here. Wasn't able to beat out Kirk Cousins. So last year, before the bowl game, when Michigan State had a bunch of players suspended, they said, he is one of our best 22 athletes. We've got to have him on the field. They asked him to change positions, and to his credit, he has busted his behind to try to become a good wide receiver. And guys, it's credit to him. He's now a starter on this team just a few months later after being asked to move to the position.
He hustles back out to his spot on the left side from midfield on a 1st and 10, Michigan State. Play action. Cousins wants to throw it back that way and got it to Fred Smith, but a nice open field tackle. Gary Gray has played very well in that Notre Dame secondary here in the 1st quarter.
Well, Well, it's kind of a little trick play. They lined that fullback up in the backfield and then tried to sneak him out on the throwback. And they had it set up. But a pretty good open field tackle by Gray. That could have been a huge play for Michigan State.
Great. Back there had a career-high 9 tackles in the opening game against Purdue this year. And that stop forces a second down and 8 for the Spartans. But they're on Notre Dame's side of the 50. They go back to the ground and only get a yard or 2 from Bell.
Now, I just want to go back to the story Holly was talking about with Keith Nichol. Here's something else that really speaks to me about his attitude and character. He's got a younger brother, Kyle, who's a redshirt freshman quarterback here at Michigan State. And if Keith Nichol was upset or frustrated at all about the switch and not getting to play quarterback, there's no way he would have let his little brother come to school here. But, I mean, you know, he's a team guy. He loves it here, and he wanted his brother to come here as well.
He's one of 4 wideouts right now for Kirk Cousins on 3rd down and 6. Cousins fires, and he threw a bullet out there to B.J. Cunningham, who made the catch flying out of bounds for the first down.
It's a nice read by Kirk Cousins. He looked across the field. He said, where can I get a good matchup? Where do I have a one-on-one? And he saw it pretty easily to his left. Right out here, he's got one-on-one with a little bit of a cushion, and he just goes that way with his read. Takes the ball, one-on-one, easy throw and catch for the first down.
Well, Michigan State driving as we end the first quarter, but trying to answer the 80-yard touchdown Notre Dame has in the ball game that's given them the 7-0 lead. End of 1 at Michigan State. Michigan State with a good drive going here as we get set to start the second quarter. Our Saturday Night Football presented by Southwest Airlines with Todd Blackledge and Holly Rowe. I'm Brad Nessler.
Oh, nice first down here to end the quarter. This would be a good time, I think. They've got some good blend going. Maybe a play action and try to get the ball down the field. Their speed guy, Keyshawn Martin, is in on this possession. He's up at the top right here.
10th play of the drive to open up the quarter. They're going to try and end around to Martin. And he's going to be run out of bounds at the 35.
Yeah, that was a little wildcat. That was a direct snap to Le'Veon Bell, who handed it off. A little change of pace to start the second quarter.
Now 2nd down at 6. Cousins has been sharp on this drive. 3 for 3 so far. Extra tight end Charlie Gant, the lead blocker for Bell, and Notre Dame stands him up in the hole, and he got very little. Ian Williams, the captain and the nose tackle, was the first guy there.
Now, if you want to play a 3-4 defense, you've got to be strong up the middle. You've got to have a nose guard who can eat up double teams, and I think they've got that in senior Ian Williams. And then you got to have 2 physical inside linebackers, and Teo and Calabrese are both physical guys that love to tackle. They're the top 2 tacklers on the team, and they got a guy in front of him in Williams who can free him up to make the play.
Another big 3rd down here to try to keep the drive alive. Cousins in the gun on 3rd and 4. Has time, fires it complete. Spinning for the first down is Mark Dell, the most experienced receiver that Michigan State's got out there, a senior out of Farmington Hills.
Did a nice job of getting the first down after the catch. He doesn't have the first down right here. He's got to get upfield. Little spin move on Robert Blanton got him the first down.
Dell last year caught 6 passes against Notre Dame for 121 yards. That's his first catch of the night, and it keeps the chains moving at the 26-yard line. Larry Caper is in the backfield for the first time tonight. They fake it to him. Cousins comes up, fires inside the 10, 1st and goal, as Keyshawn Martin's got the catch in front of Robert Blanton. Good throw and catch.
Yeah, well, when you got the running game going, which they've got in this possession, play action becomes huge because the linebackers have to respect the run fake. So they hang in there, so there's not great underneath coverage. You could see the linebacker, Kerry Neal, was late getting out underneath that, and it was an easy throw for Kirk Cousins.
Michigan State comes back in with the eye with a fullback in front of Caper at the 9-yard line. 1st and goal. Trying to tie things up. Caper gets the call, and he got back to the line of scrimmage, and that is about it.
Caper was out with a hand injury, and it was he and Baker last year as true freshmen that kind of split time at tailback, and they struggled a little bit in the running game last year and in pass protections and all the things that young backs struggle with. But it's really become a position of strength for their football team this year with the addition of Bell.
Larry had 2 touchdowns last year in that loss to Notre Dame. Stays in there. 15th play of the drive and 2nd and goal. Cousins throws to the end zone, broken up, nearly caught, and then knocked away. We got a flag down.
Yeah, real late flag in the Michigan State backfield. Going to back him up.
We'll give him an extra shot, though. It's a holding call on the Spartans. Notre Dame trying to decide if they want to decline the penalty. The referee's talking to the Notre Dame sideline instead of the Notre Dame captains. And Brian Kelly says, no, we don't want it.
Offense, number 88. Penalties declined, 3rd down.
So they don't get the other crack at it because he declines the penalty. So it's 3rd and goal.
Take a look at the left side of your screen here. This is where the hold's going to occur. Right there, the tight end pulls down Darius Fleming. Not so sure I wouldn't have taken that penalty, though.
Well, it puts them in the same spot they were in. They're 3 for 3 on 3rd down on this drive. 3rd and goal at the Notre Dame 9. Cousins scans the field, waits, finally fires, tipped, intercepted by Zeke Mata in the end zone. That's the last thing you want to do if you're Michigan State. Blanton tipped it right to Mata.
Immediate timeout.
Yeah, you absolutely have to come away with points in a situation like that. And a forced throw by Kirk Cousins, and Zeke Mata with a big play for the Notre Dame defense.
Notre Dame, after the interception, pump fake. Dane Chris going long for Floyd. Had his hands on it, but it's incomplete. Johnny Adams was covering. Let's go back to that errant throw by Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, you're going to watch. Notre Dame's only going to rush 3. They're going to drop 8. And right now, when this play is dead, he's got nothing. Nobody is open for him. That ball has got to go right through the goalpost and bring your field goal team on to kick. I mean, and that's a throw that Kirk Cousins is going to wish he had back. You just got to come away with points after a great drive.
2nd down, Notre Dame. They'll keep it on the ground. Armando Allen, and Allen's best run of the night. He's got a 1st down, pickup of 12. So Notre Dame gets its ground game going. You know, you talked about not only a great-looking drive for Michigan State, they used almost 8.5 minutes off the clock, 16-play drive. Yeah. That's really disheartening when you don't at least get 3.
Absolutely. You did everything you wanted to do until that last play.
Notre Dame with a touchdown lead and the ball at their own 32-yard line. 1st and 10. Rudolph, the tight end, in motion. Allen, a yard or 2. No gain, I beg your pardon. Gets back to the line of scrimmage.
You know, one of the most overrated statistics, I think, in college football can be time of possession. And Brian Kelly, I mean, he has no use for it. I mean, he wants to score fast, very much like Steve Spurrier used to do when he was at Florida in his heyday. They don't care about that statistic. And eventually Notre Dame's going to be that kind of team where time of possession really doesn't matter as long as they are productive on offense.
2nd down for the Irish. Christie's going to take off with this one, not by design, and he gets plowed under after about a 2-yard pickup. Hoover and Greg Jones made the stop.
I think Michigan State's defense is locked into the fact that whenever Dane Chris does take off with the ball, let's put some hits on him. Let's bring some green helmets towards him because we're not sure whether he likes to get hit, whether he can take hits. I mean, he came out of the game last week. Let's see if he can take some hits in this game. So a good opportunity now on 3rd down for Michigan State.
Pat Narduzzi, the defensive coordinator of Michigan State, said we definitely want to make him aware when he runs the football that he's in for a battle. 3rd and 9. Spartans show blitz and back out of it.
They didn't get the playoff again. That's the second time that that's happened to Dane Christ. And you got to remember, I mean, he's a young quarterback. He's only making his 3rd start.
Delay of game. Offense. Number 10. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
First game on the road in a noisy stadium that's packed to the rafters here in East Lansing.
Well, I know he knows where the 25-second clocks are because you go over that any stadium you go into, know where they are, but he's so concerned about calling protections, he's forgetting about the clock.
3rd penalty on the Notre Dame offense, and they had only 3 penalties through the first 2 weeks combined coming into this game. 3rd and 14. Strike caught by Riddick. First down, Notre Dame.
See, that's not supposed to happen if you're Michigan State. It's 3rd and long. You rush 3 and drop 8, and you give up a play in the middle of your zone defense for a first down conversion. Good protection for Chris.
Needed 14, as you can see, got 15. Big 3rd down conversion keeps Notre Dame moving offensively. Armando Allen follows his blockers, and he's out near midfield, tripped up at about the 49-yard line by Johnny Adams after a pickup of 6. 9:30 to go in the half time right now for our trivia question of the night. Which 2 former Michigan State football players won the National League MVP award? Kind of a swap of sports for you. Think it over. Just shaded on their side of midfield. Notre Dame 2nd and 4. Empty backfield. Christ. A quick throw and almost intercepted. Wanted to throw the screen out there, and Johnny Adams, had he been able to keep his hands on it, would have gone about 50 yards for a touchdown.
You know, this is kind of a funny thing for quarterbacks. Dane Christ tried to kind of guide that ball into Allen, and he made a bad throw. Just go ahead and throw it. Trust your mechanics, trust your fundamentals, and go ahead and make the throw. And a lot of times, as a quarterback, when you try to guide it in there, you throw an inaccurate pass. That should have been an easy throw for him.
Well, last time they had 3rd and 14. This time it's only 3rd and 4.
See if Michigan State tries to go after him on this one.
Again, back out of it. 3-man rush. Christ. And that's just pitch and catch. Floyd's all alone out there for the first down inside the 35.
Well, this was the problem that Michigan State had last year, their pass defense. They gave up a lot of yards. They allowed opposing quarterbacks to complete 61% of their passes, 32 touchdowns. They only had 6 interceptions. They gave up some passing yards to Florida Atlantic last week, and right now, because they can't get pressure on Chris, he's carving them up.
Florida Atlantic, they allowed them 7 out of 16 on 3rd down, so they couldn't get off the field against a lesser opponent. Now they're against a better opponent, and the same thing's happening. In and out of the hands of Theo Riddick. Chris Al Rucker out there defensively with Trenton Robinson making the play. Again, Notre Dame lines up in a hurry.
And again, the no huddle can be hurry up, but it doesn't have to be. But it really limits how much you can substitute as a defense.
Now they bring pressure, and they just pitch it out to Gray, and Gray gets positive yardage, and we check in with Holly.
Well, a new back's in right now for Notre Dame because Armando Allen came out of the game the last 2 snaps. He's got an injured right hand. They've been over-examining him on the sideline, guys, and he keeps jumping out of up and down, moving that hand like, ow, ow, ow. So I can't tell what's wrong, but it doesn't look good right now for Armando Allen.
And he had some nice runs on this drive before that. So Jonas Gray's the guy that came in and took that little pitch. Right now, he looks a little confused.
Yeah, they're going to have to call a timeout. They were real confused.
Timeout. Notre Dame. 2nd.
3rd and 2 coming up for Notre Dame. They've got a touchdown lead, 8-17 until halftime. Well, here we go on 3rd down again. Every time Notre Dame's needed 3rd down yardage, they've kept the drive alive. 3rd down and a couple. Again, Jonas Gray in the backfield with Armando Allen out with an apparent hand injury. And he gets the carry, follows his blockers, and gets the first down.
A nice little play that time by Dane Christ. They give the ball off, and then they fake like they're throwing the bubble screen to Floyd, and that just stretches the defense. You're going to give the ball inside, run behind the guard Trevor Robinson, and that little fake just stretches the defense enough to create a better crease.
He did his job, and Armando Allen's back in there. So Notre Dame at the Spartan 22. 2 tight ends for the Irish. Allen going to lose a yard. Terrell Worthy, the inside of that front wall of Michigan State's, met him head on.
Armando Allen had 115 yards and a touchdown in the game last year in South Bend against Michigan State. Off to a good start tonight, although nowhere to go on that play. Both Floyd and Rudolph, both with 3 catches in the game. Both have made their presence felt.
Everybody stacked in tight. On 2nd and 10 at the 22. Chris has time, throws the out, got it out to Floyd. Floyd lost the ball. Michigan State's got it.
Wow, why didn't he pick it up and go? Are they calling it incomplete?
Ooh. That was a bang-bang play. Apparently, that's going to be the call. Chris Norman made the hit. We'll get another look at it right here.
Yeah, good read and throw by Chris. I think that's a catch.
A fumble.
Yeah, I think that's a catch and a fumble.
He turns around, takes a step, had it stripped by Norman.
Marcus Hyde, if he picks this thing up, he might run all the way to the end zone. I mean, you want to recover the ball for sure.
I'm not sure I don't take a timeout if I'm Mark D'Antonio. Yeah. Now the officials are going to stop it here. They'll have a look at this.
Previous play is under review.
As well it should be. So we'll find out if Notre Dame keeps the football or if the Spartans have recovered a fumble. That's what it looked like to us. We'll check when we come back. You want to get a big crowd amped up in East Lansing. If you're Jerry McGinn, give the call that after further review, Michael Floyd had a complete reception. The ball was stripped. It's Michigan State football at the 11-yard line.
Well, Chris Norman in coverage got his hand in there and stripped it out. And a break for Michigan State here with 7 minutes left in the half.
See if they can take advantage of it. Baker. Boy, all that talk about the Michigan State running game, and tonight Notre Dame's just stuffed them.
Again, it's a physical front 7 for Notre Dame, and they can stand up to that physical challenge inside. I think Michigan State in their play action passing game, instead of going horizontally, they've got to try to get the ball vertically a little bit and challenge the safeties on this Notre Dame defense. Something down through the middle to challenge the safeties.
B.J. Cunningham, the lone wideout, at the top of your screen. It's a little bit of a Statue of Liberty type end around. That went nowhere, courtesy of Teo, the linebacker. A loss of 8. Way back inside the 5-yard line.
Boy, this guy is a heck of a football player. He's young, but he's so instinctive, and he's so much further along than he was a year ago. When he sees it, he doesn't hesitate, and when he gets there, he usually makes a solid tackle.
Had 63 tackles last year, the 3rd most by a freshman in Notre Dame history. And the other 2 guys above him, Bob Golick and Ross Bronner, went on to be All-Americans and All-Pros. So he's in some good company, and he's a heck of a football player for how young he is. Now Cousins in the gun in his own end zone. Fires deep sideline. Broken up, intended for Dell, and Harrison Smith. Nice play on the ball at the last second to knock it away.
Well, they tried to get the ball vertical, but 3rd down, Notre Dame anticipating pass, and Harrison Smith able to get over there and get his hands on the football. Harrison Smith is a guy who has started games as a linebacker, started games as a safety. Very productive player. His 24th career start tonight. Young man out of Knoxville, Tennessee.
81, and John Goodman.
7 tackles a year ago in this matchup, and now Michigan State, even though they recovered that fumble, they put themselves in a tough spot for Aaron Bates, backed up to his own end line, and terrible punt. Flags are down, and on the return, good coverage. John Goodman didn't get much on the return. Can it get any worse Flag in the end zone. Bates already had his back of his shoe on that chalk mark back there. And I think you would just say, that's okay, we'll take the ball for 32.
On the offense, 5-yard penalty will be added on to the end of the kick. First down.
So it's on the end of the kick, so they're going to have even better field position. Mark Antonio says, wait a minute, I don't get it. And 7-0 Notre Dame. 5:44 remaining in the first half. Great opportunity for the Irish after the short punt. Chris throws on the run. He's intercepted at the 6 by Johnny Adams. Michigan State's got it right back.
Boy, both quarterbacks now have made very poor decisions on balls thrown in the red zone or close to the red zone that result in interceptions. I'm not sure who Dane Christ was looking for on this play. He has Riddick going to the post or the flag. He's got Rudolph underneath and too many green jerseys in there to try to guide the ball in. And they get great field position after the punt, and they can't capitalize.
Johnny Adams missed 10 games last year, so got a medical red shirt. And he comes up with a huge play to prevent any further damage here before halftime. Again, the Spartans in a tough spot to work, but they'll take the ball back, see what they can do from the 6.
Their field position has been poor the whole first half.
Baker, the tailback, behind Cousins. They give it to him. He cuts it outside, got a block. Now they finally get a running play to work, and a horse collar by Zeke Mata will give him another 15.
Personal foul. Defense, number 17. Horse collar, 15-yard penalty, automatic. First down.
You don't want that penalty if you're Notre Dame, but if Mata doesn't get a hold of him, Baker's gone. He's got the speed and the acceleration to take this one the distance. Mata, if he doesn't make this play, Baker scores a touchdown. So yeah, you don't want the 15, but 15 is better than 85 right now.
First penalty on Notre Dame's defense all year. And the Spartans have got it at their own 31-yard line. Trailing by 7. Trying to change that. B.J. Cunningham out in the flat. He's got 15, 20, 25, and almost had enough real estate to cut it up the sideline.
You see the difference when you make that throw in front of the receiver so he can catch it and see the defense and not break stride? It's huge. You give that guy an opportunity to make the play.
Greg Jones coming in there, changing the play, rolling with the defense. He had Kyle Rudolph. They tried to throw it over Rudolph's head. And Adams' interception has led now to Michigan State's drive that's carried them to the Notre Dame 42-yard line.
Michigan State.
And the Spartans take a timeout with 4:53 remaining. Trying to take advantage of another turnover. Can they do it and tie things up? We'll find out.
Media timeout.
Well, a little bit earlier in this quarter, we asked you the trivia question. It was, which two former Michigan State football players won the National League MVP award in baseball? I think you probably got it figured out. Steve Garvey and Kirk Gibson, both with the Dodgers. Here on the football field, the Spartans trying to come up with their first score of the night, trailing Notre Dame 7-0 with just under 5 minutes to go in the first half. Bell, big opener. Le'Veon Bell all the way near the 25-yard line. So another 16 yards, and after taking over at their own 8-yard line, they've gone 10 yards with a run, 15 with a penalty, 27 with a pass, and 16 more right here.
Nice job by the right side of the line, and John Stepek, the center. Le'Veon Bell just waited to see where Stepek was going with his man, and as soon as he saw that block, cut right in behind 66, up the field for a big game.
Get close to the red zone again. They don't want to make any mistakes. They had opportunities earlier and threw an interception in the end zone. Now they'll keep it on the ground. Bell with a convoy in front. He's down to the 10-yard line. Benzik was out there in front of him, and Bell followed his lead blocker.
Yeah, they put Benzik in a slot and then just ran a lead stretch play out there, and he got a nice block. Could have gotten away with a little bit of a hold on Zeke Mata there. That arm got around the neck, but he was still in good position to block for his running mate.
They're going to have to earn it, Ledge.
Yeah.
They're at the 10. First and goal.
It's absolutely critical that Michigan State gets something on this possession.
Bell, second man through again, and he got to the 6. It'll be second and goal at the 6.
You mentioned where this drive started. Michigan State in the first half, 5 offensive possessions. They averaged starting on their own 14. The last time they got down here was a 16-play drive before Cousins threw an interception. They came away with nothing. So here they are again now inside the 10, and worst case scenario, without a doubt, is a field goal before halftime.
Dell and Cunningham, both wide receivers to the left of Kirk Cousins. Second and goal. Again on the ground and to the line of scrimmage, and that's it. Darius Fleming knifed in there to make the tackle.
Well, now we're in the same situation that Cousins was in before. It's third down. They can't get a first down. The last time Notre Dame's defense was in this situation, they rushed 3, they dropped 8, and they used the back of the end zone as another defender, and Kirk Cousins forced one for an interception.
They stay with 2 tight ends in there, Gant and Lithicum. 2 targets that are 6'5". The wide receivers, Mark Dell.
They're just running the clock down now, and then they're going to call timeout and talk about what play they want on this 3rd and 6.
It's their second of the half.
We find out when you find out. 2:26 remaining till halftime. Big 3rd and goal for the Spartans coming up. Back at Spartan Stadium, only the night game in the history of this 87-year-old facility. And right now, the Spartans with an opportunity and a golden one. They can't go the length of the field and not get points this time.
No, they have to. They've got to capitalize. Obviously, they want a touchdown, but this is a tough play. 3rd and goal. They don't have much room to work with. Kirk Cousins got to take care of the football.
He's all alone in the Spartan backfield. Sets the throw to the end zone. Touchdown. Keyshawn Martin. So after throwing an interception down in that spot earlier, Cousins this time finds his target. First touchdown catch of the year for Keyshawn Martin. Tie game. Martin got good depth in the back of that end zone, and Cousins threw a strike to him.
Well, what you're going to see is him slip right behind the 2 linebackers. Teo and Calabrese were both in there, and Kirk Cousins allowed his receiver to get right in between them and then threw it high enough that nobody could get a hand or tip the ball away. You throw that high towards the back line of the end zone, and either your guy catches it or nobody catches it. Perfect throw and a very nice route by Keyshawn Martin. Probably one of the happiest guys on the Spartan sideline right now is Johnny Adams, who stopped a scoring threat by Notre Dame with the interception that led to a 94-yard drive in 7 plays in 3 minutes and 17 seconds. So we got a tie game. Now Notre Dame has got a little over 2 minutes to work with and 1 timeout remaining. Short kick taken at the 11 by Wood. Sierra Wood, middle of the field. Oof, he was about 1 guy away from having a lot of open field. Got out near the 30-yard line as we take a look at our big picture brought to you by Sony. Well, he didn't have 502 yards of offense like he did last week against Notre Dame, but Denard Robinson had another big game in a Michigan win. Late touchdown pass by Ryan Mallett. First road win between the hedges. He threw a score with about a minute to go, and they won. And it didn't take Mark Ingram, the Heisman Trophy winner, long to get back and rolling. 9 rushes, 151 yards, and 2 touchdowns today for Alabama on the road. You mentioned the 2-minute situation here for Notre Dame. That was what was impressive about Ryan Mallett today on the road. Last 2-minute drill won the game for him. Chris throws low and away from
Armando Allen incomplete.
There's many people in this part of the country who remember Ryan Mallett when he was wearing the Michigan helmet.
That's right. The maize and blue. Started 3 games when Chad Henry was hurt before the transfer with Bobby Petrino to Arkansas. And now that big right arm has been huge for the Razorbacks for the last year. And now 3 games. Christ throwing incomplete. TJ Jones. You know what? If they come up empty on this one, Michigan State's going to get the ball back with about 1 minute and 45 seconds to play. And 1 timeout.
Dane Christ looked really crisp and sharp early in the game.
Yep.
He's lost his rhythm a little bit. Right now, I'm sure Brian Kelly is hoping to get his quarterback to the locker room, regroup, and get his confidence back. He doesn't look as sure of himself setting his feet and throwing the football right now.
And this isn't South Bend, as you can hear, with a hostile crowd, and he's going to take a timeout.
Timeout. Notre Dame. It's the final charge timeout of the half.
2:09 remaining. 3rd down and 10 coming up. Gil Holly Rowe.
Well, guys, this isn't the first time this game there's been miscommunication with the offense signaling in plays and the receivers knowing what they're doing. Brian Kelly just had to call a timeout. He was getting on number 7 because they're not reading the signals. You see 3 guys in red caps over here on the sideline. They signal in the play, and they earlier in the first quarter had to go over again with the wide receivers, so more miscommunication for Notre Dame.
Yeah, you're right, Holly. I think all 3 timeouts that they called were because the wide receivers, one of them was not in the right spot. Good catch.
3rd and 10. Chris just dumped it across the middle and then took a shot, and he's on hands and knees. Up and okay, apparently, but Notre Dame 3 and out, and Michigan State's going to get the football back.
Michigan State brought a little pressure on that play. It looked like they were trying to throw a screen because there were linemen downfield, but nobody even turned to look for the football.
The punt. Fair catch taken by Keyshawn Martin at the 31-yard line. 39-yard kick.
Things Don Treadwell, the offensive coordinator, said they were going to put the ball in more of the hands of the quarterback in this game. More decision-making on the field.
Cousins got it to Martin. Martin got a block. He is really electric when you get him in some space.
Yeah. And again, it starts with the good throw by the quarterback. And this is not an easy throw. It's not far down the field, but you've got to put it in the right spot in front of your receiver. And then look at Nichols downfield blocking. This time he keeps those hands inside in his blocking on Darren Walls, and it's a big game.
Remember, Notre Dame with that 3 and out, they only had the ball for 22 seconds, so they've given Michigan State almost 2 minutes to work with, and the Spartans with 1 timeout left. And now they've got it outside their own 45-yard line. They can go back to the ground to caper if they so choose, and they get it on Notre Dame's side of the field at the 48s.
Michigan State's kicker, Dan Conroy, was 4 for 4 so far this season,
including a 50-yarder. So he's got a pretty good leg.
That was indoors last week, though, but good leg.
Cousins across the middle. Nico trying to fight for that first down yardage, and he's about a foot short, I think, once they spot it. Maybe a little bit more than that. That's his first catch after throwing that good block 2 plays earlier.
He's fighting for that first down because the clock stops if they get a first down to move the chains. Now they got to hurry up and try to get the first.
Whoa, Cousins trying to go airborne. I don't know. Depends on the spot. Anthony McDonald. I don't think he got it.
I don't either.
Officials timeout for measurement.
Talk about meeting the quarterback in the hole. Anthony McDonald, a junior out of Burbank, California, went airborne just when the quarterback did.
Well, it started with Ian Williams, the nose tackle, going down and drawing the offensive line down with him. And then McDonald came over the top and perfectly timed his jump and collision.
Not quite a foot short.
Short by 4 inches. 4th down.
She doesn't agree with the spot. Everybody's an expert. Well, Michigan State going to load it up here on 4th down and inches.
I wouldn't try that over-the-top quarterback sneak again. If I go sneak again, I'm going low. But you also got a couple good tailbacks. You may want to give them the football.
Bell's in there right now.
Now Michigan State's going to call timeout.
Michigan State.
Think about it a little longer.
59 seconds remaining in the half. That's it for timeouts for Michigan State.
Michigan State is challenging the spot on the previous play.
All right, so that's what the timeout's about. Well, the girl in the stands, she wasn't buying the spot. Neither was Mark D'Antonio, I guess. She's going, okay, no way.
Well, she's a Notre Dame fan. There's ND. She thought it was a good spot. They didn't get the first one.
Oh, I thought she was wearing green. You're right. She's got Notre Dame green on.
Ian Williams takes up the block. I don't think he got it. I mean, he never got that football reached out anyway.
This might give you the best look.
He tried to reach the ball out and then bring it back, which, you don't want to let that ball hang out there, but I don't think he got it.
So we have another review tonight. Our replay official. We talked to Jim before the game. Jim Augustin is in here with Todd and me.
The decision on whether to go for it or not, I'm okay with that for Mark D'Antonio if you go for this on 4th down. There's less than a minute left in the half. Your defense has really settled in against Dane Chris and the Notre Dame offense here so far in the second quarter.
And Notre Dame doesn't have any timeouts.
And they have no timeout. So go for it here and see if you can get it.
Further review, the play stands as called. It's 4th down. The runner did not make the line of gain. Michigan State is charged with a timeout, and they may not challenge again for the rest of the game. Please reset the game clock to 1:03. 1:03. Thank you.
So as they take the huddle around Kirk Cousins, it'll be Le'Veon Bell again, the tailback. Benzik, the fullback.
And the situation has now changed a little bit for Michigan State and for quarterback Kirk Cousins. Because of that challenge that failed, they lost their last time out. So obviously #1 order of business here is get the first down, no matter what the play is called. And then you've got to hurry up and get to the line and either call a play or run a play or spike the football to stop the clock.
So here's 4th down, and as our referee said, 4 inches.
Please reset the game clock to 1:03. The clock will start on the snap.
Putting time back on the clock. Extra 10 seconds could mean a lot, actually. And they've got it reset here at the stadium. 4th and inches for the Spartans. Bell got the first. Stiff arm. Inside the 40. Down to the 34.
Now you got to hurry up and spike the football, or if you had a play called in the huddle, you go ahead and run it. But you can't take a whole lot of time doing whatever you do.
56. They wind the clock. Cousins backpedals into the shotgun, so they've got a play called. Well, whistles will stop this play anyway.
Ball start, 83. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Charlie Gant, the tight end, with a false start as we take you back to the 4th and inches.
Well, you give it to Bell. He's got great vision. For a young back, he really has vision to go with that big body. And he gets outside easily for the first down.
That backs it up to the 39 with a penalty, and now another flag down. Well,
ball start. Offense, #7. 5-yard penalty, first down.
Michigan State's receivers are self-destructing here.
Well, you've got to be set for a full second before the ball is snapped. So even if you're trying to go fast, as a quarterback, you got to make sure everybody has a chance to get set before you snap the ball.
That's 1st and 20. Cousins got a safety valve in the flat, and he dropped it. Caper, and maybe it was just as well, because he had 2 guys that were ready to bring him down. So down to 22 seconds. They've got to get it all the way down to the 24-yard line to keep the drive alive, but to get Conroy a shot, they'd like to get down around the 32 maybe. Again,
I think the middle of the field Right in this area, you got to try to get somebody down in there and challenge the safeties.
Cousins pump fakes and now fires a deep out, incomplete. Darren Walls covering Mardell, number 2 on number 2 out there. Now it's 3rd down in a bunch, and you're down to 17 seconds. And you pretty much got to throw something that's going to get you out of bounds again and get your kicker out there with a shot. Otherwise, you're going to run out of time. So you don't need all of the 20, but you need about maybe 12 or 13 at least to give your kicker a shot. Cousins going to throw that sideline route, incomplete. And now they just have to.
Well, I think you got to punt now, because even if you try a Hail Mary and it's incomplete, then you give Notre Dame the football with a chance to throw it to your end zone.
Yep.
So I think at this point you got to punt the football.
And that'll be the case here as Bates comes out with a punting unit. Well, wasted opportunity. Those 2 false start penalties really messed everything up for Michigan State.
And I couldn't tell if the receivers jumped early or if they'd never got set, but regardless, it was a lack of focus and concentration, and they really took themselves out of a great situation.
Bates to punt. Goodman's way back here on the other end. And this one will bounce inside the 5 and in the end zone. So Notre Dame's got 1 play. And I'm assuming they will take a knee and head to the locker room and talk it over. Seems that way. Coach Kelly's got his headset off, trying to get it out of his windbreaker so he can head to the locker room on the road for the first time as Notre Dame head coach with a tie game with the Spartans. And that'll do it for the first half. So a touchdown pass by each quarterback is what we have to show for the first 2 quarters of play. Notre Dame on the road for the first time this year, tied with Michigan State 7-7 at the break. Should be a good second half of football in the 74th matchup of these 2 longtime rivals. Just about set to start the 3rd quarter, and we're tied, Notre Dame and Michigan State 7-7. Welcome back, everybody. Brad Nessler, Todd Blackledge, Holly will join us on the field here in a minute. You know, you look at the first half, both quarterbacks have one they wish they could have pulled back. 2 DBs made some big plays, but 7-7 in kind of a hard-hitting game to expect it.
Yeah, and really it was one team kind of cooled off. The other one got a little bit warmer as the game went on in the first half. Dane Christ hit 11 of his first 18, then only 3 of his next 10 throwing the football. Meanwhile, Le'Veon Bell got the hot hand for Michigan State, 11 carries for 77 yards. Michigan State gets the ball to start the 3rd quarter here, so I would expect them to start feeding it back to the big back again.
The guy that had the touchdown catch, Keyshawn Martin, back with Le'Veon Bell, awaiting the kickoff of David Ruffer to start our 3rd quarter. And it will be at the 4-yard line. Keyshawn Martin sidesteps a would-be tackler at the 20 and got out to about the 26-yard line. As we take a look at our Southwest Airlines playbook. Take it over, Lynch.
Well, Kirk Cousins got his team down in the red zone deep twice. The first time he forced a bad throw on 3rd down and it was tipped and intercepted. The next time he did a great job of reading the 2 linebackers, Calabrese and Teo, and then that X mark where he's going to throw the football to the back of the end zone for Keyshawn Martin for the touchdown. He learned from his first time down there and made a beautiful throw and read for the touchdown that tied it up.
There's his numbers in the first half. 11 of 21, the score to Martin that tied things up in the 2nd quarter. Now Michigan State starts at its own 26-yard line. Play action. Cousins comes up slinging it and completes the out to B.J. Cunningham. Boy, he had to put that one right where it was, or it could have been picked off.
Well, Darren Walls went for the interception. I think he thought he was going to get to the football. It was a deep throw from hash to the sideline. Look at Walls. He goes in front thinking he's going to get the football, and Cunningham just snatched it away and then turned upfield.
And wipes out his head coach.
Yeah.
Mark had a big smile on his face. Turns back to the normal look he has during the course of the game. Oh, a little crack of a smile there. At the 44-yard line. 1st and 10. Baker. Edwin Baker. He might take it. Baker to the 10. He's gone. .56 yards and a flash for the guy that came in as the number 5 rusher in the country, number 2 in the Big Ten, and finally he got a big run. Dan Conroy for the point after. Didn't take the Spartans long to grab control of the early stages of the 3rd quarter, did it? 2 plays, 74 yards, 40 seconds.
Great job of being patient by Baker. Watch him allow Foreman to get around here, and as soon as he reads the block, then that's when Baker makes his cut. He lets Foreman get on his man, cuts back inside of him, and then he makes the safety, Harrison Smith, miss at the 2nd level. But he's got to be patient, set up that first block, and then use his speed and burst to get it to the end zone.
Talked about the great back combinations of Baker and Bell, and at times even Larry Caper, but Edwin Bell, who came in with 300 yards on the ground, 56 quickly.
He has that kind of burst. He had an 80-yard touchdown last week.
Kick to the 6 to Sierra Wood. And Wood runs into one of his own guys and goes down at about the 26-yard line. Let's check in with Holly.
Well, I checked in with both coaches at the half. Brian Kelly said we had 40 good plays, 5 bad plays. We've got to do a better job of getting our quarterback back in rhythm. They had a good rhythm in that 1st quarter, and they lost it. For Michigan State, Mark D'Antonio said, hey, I don't regret challenging that timeout. I thought he got across the line for the 1st down. I don't think it hurt us. He said, basically, we've had plenty of opportunities. We've got to eliminate the penalties.
How do you get it back, Todd?
Well, you gotta come out and just start over and just set your feet and make solid throws. You don't throw off your back foot and you don't guess.
They're going to blitz him here, the first play of this drive, and he one-hops it over to Armando Allen, incomplete. Rudolph on 2nd down gets it out to the 40, and that's a 1st down throw, pick up a 14.
And that's what you do. You set your feet and you find your security blanket, your favorite receiver, the guy that you know is going to be where you want him to be. And he's a big target at 6'6", 265, and now you get a 1st down.
They're in off the field and on the field. Christian Rudolph, that is. The throw this time is to Allen, and Armando fighting and lost the ball, but he caught it himself. That could have been dangerous. Got about 7 or 8 yards. Marcus Hyde's the guy that hit him.
We took a good hit, but you wonder if that hand isn't really bothering him. I noticed in the 1st half, they took him off of the punt return duties. He's a very dangerous punt returner, but they replaced him with Gordon. You wonder if that hand that Holly reported on the 1st half is really bugging him.
2nd and short. Blitz again. Throwing the flat. Allen on the run. 1st down inside of 40 all the way down to the 33. So Notre Dame looking to answer. I beg your pardon, that was Riddick. A pickup of 19.
Well, this is a good read by Chris and a good call by Brian Kelly, because Michigan State's going to bring pressure inside, and they're going to throw it outside, away from the blitz. The blitz comes inside, quarterback gets rid of it to the outside, and it's a nice game for Notre Dame.
So now 1st down at the 34 of the Spartans. Chris, deep middle. What a catch by Riddick. One-hand grab just outside the 10.
You ask, how do you get it back if you're a quarterback? Just what he's doing. You hit Rudolph on the first play, and every pass since then has been on the mark. He set his feet, he's thrown with confidence, and he gets this one down the middle to Riddick.
First and goal.
Nobody was on Rudolph. I think Chris was trying to change the play to find his tight end. Here he is right here.
At the 10. Chris rolls, fires, Rudolph, touchdown. 10-yard strike. And Notre Dame with a quick answer to Michigan State's touchdown.
It started with the first completion to Rudolph. That got Chris confidence back. And it ended with a touchdown against the safety. That's a mismatch. Rudolph gets separation, an easy throw for Chris, and Notre Dame with a nice score.
Rudolph's second touchdown catch of the year. Ruffers extra points ties the game again. Didn't take Notre Dame very long either to go 74 yards, just under 2 minutes. They cap it with Chris to Rudolph, his favorite target, 14-14. Kyle Rudolph's touchdown catch caps our second 74-yard touchdown drive, one by each team. Michigan State took 40 seconds. Notre Dame took just under 2 minutes. David Ruffer to kick. Fielded at the 8 by Keyshawn Martin. Martin had a little seam, got across the 25 to about the 26. Let's see if Michigan State can come back with another answer. We've had an exciting 2.5 minutes to open the third quarter. Baker, who took it the distance last time, will not this time. A loss of about a yard. Let's see what Mr. Blackledge had for breakfast.
Our two signature items here are biscuits and homemade gravy, and the breakfast burrito, which is eggs scrambled with homemade sausage and pepper jack cheese and peppers, and topped with Zane's own special spicy salsa. Side order of potatoes with cheddar and jalapenos, and I think I'm ready to kickstart my day.
Every day should begin like that. You know, that first forkful almost ended up on your pants.
It did. Yeah, I was a good save, though.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to lose any of it.
You didn't do all the biscuits and gravy, though.
I couldn't. They were great, but I couldn't do it.
The burrito
was gone.
Yeah, the burrito did disappear. Nice pass out in the flat, and he got it out to Keyshawn Martin.
At the 33-yard line. Mata takes him out of bounds.
I'll tell you, I went back to that place today after our production meeting and had maybe the best omelet I've ever had in my life.
Yeah, same place.
Same place.
Same result. Everything was eaten.
Yeah.
Don't forget, log on to ESPN.com, Sports Nation mailbag, and tell us why you should get a $100 gift certificate to our featured restaurant. Tell us why you're hungry, what you'd order. Your favorite response wins the gift certificate. Be sure to fill out your name and email address so we can contact you if you win. Burritos, omelets. He's done it all this weekend, folks. Cousins, quick slant. Oh, what a strike that was to Cunningham. Nice catch, too, by number 3, because that one had some smoke on it.
Yeah, beautiful throw. Again, big receivers. Dell and Cunningham are both big physical bodies. And all they have to do is get between their defender and the football, and a nice solid throw by Cousins. I think you're seeing both offenses in this early part of the third quarter do what they do best. For Michigan State, it's run and mix in some pass. For Notre Dame, it's spread you out and throw it. They both look better than they did in the first half.
B.J. Cunningham's 5th catch, 3 of them on third down. They fake the end around, a great fake. Cousins is all alone in the backfield, but here comes the rush now. He'll take off, head to the sideline, get what he can, which is about 8 yards.
And a great decision because Notre Dame was not fooled. They were very disciplined in their defense. You run that play hoping to get somebody running free down the middle of the field. But they had Cunningham covered. They also had the back covered. And Cousins made the right decision to run and not force a throw.
Love the play fake. He stayed with it forever.
Hit the ball, did exactly what he was supposed to do, but Notre Dame very disciplined on that defensive play.
Trying now to get Cunningham on the other side of the formation to get both wide receivers to the top of your screen. Le'Veon Bell is the tailback here. 2nd down and 2. He'll get the carry, and he'll get the first down. Needed 2, got 3. And Michigan State scored on its opening drive in the third quarter. Notre Dame came right back and answered. And now the Spartans in Notre Dame territory again.
You see a little bit of a misdirection, not so much by the back who is carrying the football, but by the fullback, Benzik. Kind of gives the impression he's leading it to the right and then bends it back to the left side of the formation. Just a different way of running a similar kind of a zone lead play.
Two tight end set here for the Spartans. At the Notre Dame 43. Quick throw out. Cunningham's one-on-one out there, but a nice open field stop by Walls. And Zeke Mata, who helped him over there, trying to shake it off.
Notre Dame trying to substitute, bringing some fresh bodies in on the defensive line again because of the lack of depth at safety. Those two guys, Mata and Harrison Smith, can't come out of the game. They can sub other guys, but those two guys are going to have to play the full thing here tonight, it appears.
Second down at 6. Inside the 40. The stretch play. Bell got the corner, got the first down. Still on his feet down to the 27. He's a load. He's 6'2" and 230 pounds, so don't let his youth fool you. He got 12 the hard way.
Well, you got a tight end and a wide receiver blocking. Charlie Gant, number 83, does a great job of sealing the corner, and then Cunningham on the outside just holds his man off long enough to allow Bell to cut inside for extra yards. Tight end secures the edge of the defense. Your wide receiver gives you 4 or 5 more.
Bell, who had 141 yards in the season opener, has got 92 tonight on 13 carries. Baker's going to spell him here, and Edwin will get the call. About the 24, Lewis Moore made the tackle. So again, the 1-2 punch of Baker and Bell working pretty well.
The 1-2 punch of the two backs and the rhythm that this offense has now, mixing pass and run. Because they're running with effectiveness, then it forces Notre Dame to play the run hard, and that opens up a lot of stuff in their passing game. 179 yards rushing now for Michigan State.
Baker stays in there. And now the fullback, Benzik, sets up in front of him. 2nd and 7. Baker trying to bounce it out. Broke 2 tackles, but he won't get away from the third. Harrison Smith rides him down after a short gain.
Baker's asking to come out of the game.
You see him slap hands with Bell as number 4 comes out, number 24 comes in.
Kind of like tag team wrestling.
Exactly.
Slap hands, your turn. Go over and get a Gatorade, catch my breath, and I'll be back in.
See if you can body slam somebody on the next play. It's a big third down, that's for sure. 3rd and 6. There'll be 3 wide receivers out there. Martin, Cunningham, and Dell. 5-minute drive going on again now for the Spartans. And
I don't think
like
they got
that.
the play on it. I know they're calling illegal motion.
False start. Offense, number 62. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Chris McDonald, the right guard.
See, those seem like small, insignificant penalties, but they're huge because now it's 3rd and 11. And that's a big difference from 3rd and 6. And remember, right before the half, they had those possession, back-to-back 5-yard penalties, took them out of field goal position. Those little things add up. Those are the kind of penalties that really frustrate Mark D'Antonio.
Right now they are in field goal range, but they'd like to keep this thing moving. 3rd down at 11. Cunningham comes all the way across the field. Cousins wants to go back with a screen. Oh, Bell hit, bounced off it, and might have a first down. He does. What a tough run by the freshman. Teo with the hit, but he didn't wrap him up.
Yep.
And he got 12 yards on 3rd and 11.
Notre Dame came with a blitz. That meant man-to-man coverage on the screen, and Teo is there. But you're right, he did not wrap him up. He thought if he hit him hard enough, he'd knock him down. But this back weighs 230 pounds and didn't go down on the contact and then got the first down.
Big play for the Spartans, so they keep it going. 57-yard drive now. Down in the red zone at the 16-yard line of Notre Dame. Bell again behind his blockers. Touchdown.
Wow.
tell you what, this kid's already a big-time back, and he's barely found the library yet. A 16-yard touchdown, and Michigan State back in front. Conroy for a point after. First a 74-yard march, then a 73-yard march, and the Spartans are back in front.
I love his patience. Le'Veon Bell gets right behind Chris McDonald, his right guard, follows his fullback Bednick in, into the touchdown. Michigan State on the board again.
Only the ninth night game in Michigan State history, and the Spartans have got the lead back again. 5:51 in the third quarter. Brad Nessler, Todd Blackledge, and Holly Rowe and our crew watching a good football game. 7-7 at halftime, but Michigan State's had touchdown drives of 74 and 73 yards here in this third quarter, and they're up by a touchdown again. Kick will go to Sierra Wood at about the 4. And Wood got across the 20 out to the 23-yard line. 19-yard kickoff return as we take a look at our Pacific Life game summary. Edwin Baker, the touchdown maker, capped the 42nd drive to open up the third quarter from 56 yards out. Kirk Cousins has a touchdown and 170 throwing. Dane Christ, 2 touchdowns, including the last one to cap a 74-yard drive of his own to Kyle Rudolph, and that's where we are.
Dane Christ, after sputtering in the second quarter, missed his first one to start the third quarter and then hit 5 in a row. So should have his confidence back here in the third quarter.
He's got Wood with him in the backfield, and another penalty marker.
False start. 70. 5-yard penalty. First down.
It's about the 4th false start penalty. Let's check in with Holly.
Michigan linebacker Eric Gordon is out for the rest of the game, guys. He took that blow to the chin. He's got it covered up here on the sideline, and he's in his street clothes. He is trying to help coach up his guys, though, on defense. He's still very active here on the sidelines.
As we said, he and Greg Jones inseparable out there on the field, off the field. And they definitely miss him at linebacker position. They throw right about where he would be and got it to Riddick. And Riddick's going to have the first down, or very close to it. No, he's got it. So Riddick becoming more and more of a factor, Todd, and Brian Kelly told us that was going to happen.
Well, the slot receivers have to be big factors in his offense. I mean, it just opens everything up. And Riddick, again, growing on the job as a wide receiver, having his best game by far tonight.
Irish first down, their own 34-yard line, trailing by a touch. Wood trying to be patient, follow his blockers. Only got a 2 or 3 out of it. Marcus Hyde and company were there to bring him down, or slow him down, I should say.
Notre Dame doesn't have to run it as much as Michigan State or as well as Michigan State to be effective offensively, but they do have to run it some.
Yep.
And they've got to keep the Spartan defense honest.
2nd and 7. Play action. The throw in the flat is to Riddick. Made one man miss. A second man can't get him, and he's got a first down. He is shifty in the open field.
And you can just see him growing up and maturing as this game has gone. I mean, he's catching the football and then making things happen in space. I mean, he did a great job of making 2 guys miss and getting an easy first down.
Last year he was a running back wearing number 32. He switched to 84 in the spring. Didn't like that either. Now he's number 6. He's got about that many catches, hasn't he? He's got 8.
Boy, Chris just looks, he looks different. I mean, he looks comfortable again.
Yep.
He's seeing the whole field. He's seeing his matchups. The last play was Riddick. This play it was Floyd. He knows where he wants to go with the football. He plants his foot. He saw the matchup he wanted, and he threw a strike to Michael Floyd.
And just when you start thinking about those guys, where's Riddick, where's Floyd, then you go, where's number 9? The tight end. Wood not going to get away from Johnny Adams. Adams, who had an interception early in the game that prevented Notre Dame points and led to a long touchdown drive with a good open field tackle.
Yeah, a good open field tackle, but I'm not sure where Zach Martin, number 70, was going. He ran right by Johnny Martin and left his back exposed with an unblocked tackler. If he knocks him out a little bit, I think Woods might take that in for a bigger score.
Michigan State trying to shuffle their defensive personnel. Notre Dame at the line of scrimmage, empty backfield. Chris quick throw, and there is number 9. First down, Notre Dame.
When a quarterback is relaxed and comfortable, it just is a natural thing. His vision widens. And right now, he's seeing it and feeling it. He felt the pressure. He saw where the blitz came from, and he found the tight end open for the first down.
A little over 3 minutes in the third quarter. Notre Dame, with Dane Christ having hit his last 9 passes on the move. Well, there's the first incompletion in his last 10 throws, and intended for T.J. Jones.
Jinxed him.
Sure did.
Actually, he got jinxed by rolling to his left.
Yeah, I think that was his first problem.
Yeah, got his feet mixed up a little bit. And
look at the numbers, though.
Throw.
Good third quarter.
Again, he's seeing the field. He's reading the coverages, and he's going through his progressions. He knows where he wants to go with the football. And at the end of the second quarter, he wasn't sure what he wanted to do. He's worked his way through that very nicely.
Looks left, runs out of time. Greg Jones, the middle linebacker. The All-American with the sack. First of the night for the Michigan State defense.
Well, he didn't have himself protected here. Michigan State brought more guys than they could block. And Greg Jones usually doesn't miss if he gets his hands on you.
First team All-American Greg Jones. One of only 3 first-team All-Americans that returned for another season. In this case, his senior year. Big play there, forces 3rd and 16. Christ, deep sideline. Floyd got tangled up on Adams.
First pass intended for Michael Floyd. Penalty marker out.
Holding. Defense. Number 5. 10-yard penalty from the previous line of scrimmage. Automatic. First down.
Well, that's a huge penalty because
is.
it's the automatic first down. A 5-yard penalty, 3rd and more than 14. What was it, 3rd and 15?
Yeah, 3rd and 16.
16, they get the holding penalty, and it's the right call. I mean, you could say, well, that ball wasn't catchable. Well, it wasn't catchable because Adams held it. Yeah.
So it's first down, Notre Dame at the Michigan State 26. They keep it moving by penalty. Chris going to throw it out in the flat to Allen. Allen inside the 20 and down to the 11 or 12. I think he's just a little bit short of the first down. Well, if Armando Allen indeed hurt his hand earlier, he's playing tough and sucking it up out there. This one's close enough to look at. They'll bring the sticks out. Jimmy Johnson going for a 5th straight championship at the Chase for the NASCAR Sprint Cup. That starts in New Hampshire tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern time. Coverage starts with NASCAR Countdown at noon on ESPN2. Little NASCAR reminder for you for tomorrow. Not much short.
Second down.
About the length of the football. 10th play of the Notre Dame drive. Talk about a great third quarter. It was 7-7 at halftime. Notre Dame trying to tie it up before this third quarter ends. We said earlier, when we first came on the air, a lot of close games in this series that goes back 112 years. Looks like we're going to have another close one tonight. There's a lot you can do on second down and a foot, Todd.
Yeah. Whatever you do, you want to make a good decision if you're Dane Christ and take care of the football because you are in prime situation right now.
Blitz, quick throw, Rudolph. Oh man, he's met head on. Good open field stop by Rucker, but he did get the first down.
Now, Brian Kelly has won as a head coach, and the other thing he's done is he's developed quarterbacks. Everywhere he's been, starting at Grand Valley State and then to Central Michigan and Cincinnati, he has really produced outstanding quarterbacks and guys that have really grown in the position. And, he's excited. He's really excited to work with Dane Christ right now.
Christ to the end zone. Working pretty well to Riddick. Touchdown. 15-yard strike. Ninth catch of the night for Theo Riddick, and this one's in the end zone. David Ruffer in for the point after. Just when the crowd was having a big time, they are silenced by another 70-plus yard, in this case 77-yard touchdown drive. Saturday Night Football, we're having some fun in East Lansing, especially this third quarter. Spartans 21, Irish 21. Another touchdown pass for Christ, 21-21.
Well, Dane Christ, you talk about why he's comfortable. He's going to freeze that safety. Now, he knows he wants to go to the post, but he makes that safety sit at home for a half a second and then throws the post route right in there to Theo Riddick. And when a quarterback is comfortable, he sees the field and he does those kind of things.
We've had almost 300 yards of touchdown drives by these two teams combined here in the third quarter. 74 and 77 for Notre Dame, 74 and 73 for Michigan State. This kick to the goal line to Keyshawn Martin. Oh, nice coverage by Notre Dame, unless he can get around this guy, and he can't. He's going to be dropped at the 10-yard line. On a Big Ten field with Notre Dame in town and a night game at Spartan Stadium, 21-21. Late stages of the third quarter, but not a good starting spot for the Spartans here as you look at Edwin Baker at his own 4-yard line. And he only gets back to his own 10-yard line, which is the line of scrimmage.
You know, the question right now in this game is, we talked about at the beginning of the show, both teams offensively have different styles. Notre Dame's going to throw first, run second. Michigan State's going to run first, throw second. Both defenses struggled against the other team's strength. So now, which defense is going to rise up and make a play or two to determine the outcome of this game? Because both offenses are doing what they want.
Kirk Cousins in the shotgun, but he keeps it on the ground, and it's Baker stretching out for 8. That'll bring up 3rd down and 2. Ethan Johnson made the stop. So Baker and Bell, the two big guys for Michigan State, have put together over 200 yards on the ground. They came in averaging 261, but that was against Western Michigan and Florida Atlantic, and no offense to those two teams, but you're supposed to have good numbers in some of those early season games. This is a different story tonight. Probably the final play of the third quarter, 3rd and 2. Little counter to Baker, runs into traffic, keeps his legs moving, but he's not going to get there.
Well, what a nice play by the Notre Dame defense, because I thought they were outflanked. Michigan State had 2 tight ends in. They got them both on the same side of the formation, and they weren't able to get any push on that Notre Dame front 7.
End of 3, 21-21. We've seesawed back and forth. Baker with a long touchdown run. Rudolph in the end zone from Christ. Then came back Le'Veon Bell that rung up another touchdown, and finally Riddick for the score. Big third quarter. Fourth quarter coming up. You know, these two guys with 15 minutes to go in this game, Todd, you never know. You can look back at the end of the year. This might be the turning point of 15 minutes on how the season is going to go. Mark D'Antonio, Brian Kelly, both who have been head coaches at Cincinnati. But now, bigger things here with Michigan State and Notre Dame. Nice kick by Bates. Backs up Goodman. Goodman got by the first man. And the second. And to the 38-yard line. Good enough return, though, 10 yards. Marcus Hyde made the stop. Here, we're right in the thick of Big Ten country.
From the previous spot, 4th down, re-kick.
So there's a holding call on Nichols.
Sorry. Penalty will be capped on from the previous spot, from the kick, the end of the kick, 1st down.
Well, Jerry talked all the way through my Sports Nation. You might as well keep on talking and get it straight.
Well, the bottom line is Notre Dame has outstanding field position here on the first possession of the fourth quarter, right out by midfield.
48-yard line, first down, Notre Dame. Armando Allen flanking Dane Christ, who had a huge third quarter. Let's see how the fourth goes. Allen, quick opener. Got about 8. Greg Jones holding on. And Notre Dame already in Michigan State territory.
Yeah, I've been impressed with this Notre Dame offensive line tonight. 2 tackles, Zach Martin and Taylor Dever, are both first-year starters. It's a kind of a new group coming together, and they have given great protection to Dane Christ. The only time Michigan State has gotten to him is when they brought linebackers a couple times.
Rudolph in motion on second down and 2. Allen looks like he's got the first down. So they keep moving the sticks here. Jonathan Strayhorn made the stop. There you see the big eaters that have led the way for Allen and given Chris the time tonight. At the 41, Irish first and 10. Flared out. No, he's not. Knocked down at the line of scrimmage by Tyler Hoover. Hoover 6'7", 260, and he got all of that height in the way to knock that pass down. You understand Auburn a winner over Clemson on their home field at Jordan-Hare in overtime. We'll see the Tigers next week against South Carolina. Shovel pass. Armando Allen. Allen got the corner. And inside the 25-yard line. 17-yard pickup.
Second time Notre Dame has run this in the game. Both times, perfect time to call it. Invite the upfield rush. Watch the rush come up the field, and then you slip the shovel pass underneath them. Get them up the field, and then you open it up for Armando Allen, and he's got good vision when he gets to the second level of the defense. They've run it twice. Both times, they've turned it in for good plays.
And another first down at the 24. Here comes the blitz. Chris pump fakes once, goes to the end zone. Floyd for the touchdown. "24 yards to Michael Floyd.
With most receivers, this is not worth taking a chance on. But with a 6'3" guy who can jump, go ahead and throw it up for him in the back of the end zone. Either he catches it or nobody does. Throw it over the defense and let Michael Floyd make a play.
You said coming in, he's got to become a bigger part of the offense tonight. He's got 2 touchdown catches, and now Notre Dame's got a touchdown lead with the extra point by Ruffer up and good. Notre Dame only had to go 52 yards in a minute and a half. And number 3 from Chris for the score and the lead. Notre Dame picked up where they left off in the third quarter. Their scoring drives the last 3 times they've had it, 74, 77, and then 52. That short field after the penalty on the punt return put him 52 yards away, and it didn't take long for Chris to find Michael Floyd for the second time tonight in the back of the end zone. And the Irish, with 14 unanswered points, have got the lead. But we got a lot of football left. 13:20 to play. Ruffer's kick. Keyshawn Martin at about the 3. And Martin only get to the 23. Here's Sparty now from its own 22-yard line. Bell is in there, flanking Cousins in the shotgun. Kirk Cousins, plenty of time, throws, and he's got a man wide open in Martin. Broke 1 tackle. He's got a first down way out at the 42-yard line.
Really nice throw by Kirk Cousins on first down. A flag route, which means the wide receiver is breaking into the post and then back outside at about a 45-degree angle. And a nice throw by Cousins out to the outside. A big chunk of yardage on a first down pass.
Pickup of 21 on that one. Martin closing in on a 100-yard night on the receiving end of Cousins' passes, and he's close to 200 on the evening. First down, Michigan State. Back to the ground. Back to Bell, who got a couple. They started this back in 1897. Notre Dame leads the series, including the games here in East Lansing. Always been close, though, recently. Last 10 meetings, 8 of them decided by a touchdown or less. We have a touchdown difference right now. And approaching 12 minutes. Last year it was 33-30 Notre Dame, as they intercepted Kirk Cousins late in the ball game to preserve the win. Now they're going to come up with a passing situation as Bell was stopped by Fleming. Notre Dame changes up defensively. Get some of the big guys out of there and some extra secondary man in there. It's going to be third down and a long 6. Benny Fowler comes in as a wide receiver. Haven't seen much of him tonight. Along with Keyshawn Martin and Keith Nickel. So 3 wideouts to the left and 1 to the right for Kirk Cousins on a huge third down for Michigan State. He's in trouble, and down he goes. First sack of the night. Couldn't come at a worse time for Michigan State. Calabrese with the sack. An injured player down. I think it's Ethan Johnson for Notre Dame.
Timeout. Injured player.
So that drive stalled in a hurry as a couple of run plays got stuffed, and then it's Cousins that gets stuffed on the sack.
A little pressure front that time by Notre Dame. It was the 3 interior linemen covered up the 2 guards in the center, outside rushers on the edge, and they brought all 5 guys and got to Cousins.
Ethan Johnson, the junior, down, but about ready to get up. We'll take a timeout here. We'll be back. What Aaron Bates would like to do here is hit a punt about 50 yards and drop it inside the 10-yard line in a perfect world for Michigan State. John Goodman is back waiting on it. Now he backpedals Goodman to the 6. Goodman heading to the far side, has another pretty good return though. Let's check in with Holly.
Well, that last touchdown reception from Michael Floyd looked pretty easy, but his route to Notre Dame was anything but, guys. He grew up in Minnesota, and he and his mom decided that if he had a chance to get Division I scholarship offers and have good academics, he needed to go to this very expensive prep school, Cretin-Durham. But they couldn't afford the tuition, so he got on a work-study program. He'd get up before dawn, take 3 buses across town in Minnesota in the winter, and help clean the school. For all 4 years he was there, he'd clean the weight room. He earned his way to Division I.
Boy, and he is playing great tonight. Here's Jonas Gray, no gain on the play. Michael Floyd, you're talking about going to Cretin-Durham Hall. That's his old high school. There's a little place right across the street from it called the Nook. And they have sandwiches named after guys like Paul Molitor, Joe Mauer, Matt Burke, some of those kind of things. Michael Floyd wants a really sloppy burger named after him, and I thought of you when I heard about that. Nothing sloppy about his play tonight. Christ going deep for Floyd. In and out of his hands this time. Pretty good coverage back there by Chris L. Rucker.
Well, you see Michael Floyd saying, go ahead and throw that thing. Let me go get it instead of having to stop and jump up for it. I mean, I'm going to go after the ball, but don't make me slow down. Let me run to it and get separation from the cornerback instead of having to go up and fight him for it. Nice play by Rucker.
It was.
It's a huge play right here for Michigan State's defense. They need a stop.
They got to have a stop. There's only 10 minutes left in the game. Can't let Notre Dame continue to chew up the clock. Trailing by a touchdown. Christ in trouble. Lucky there wasn't a holding call. I think there might be. And now the pass is tipped and nearly intercepted. Just as I was saying, I'm surprised there wasn't a hold. There was.
Yeah. Well, I think you decline this and have them punt the football. You're still going to have great field position.
Holding. Offense. Number 70. Penalties decline. 4th down.
That's exactly what's going to happen. Zach Martin. He was trying to protect his quarterback and trying to keep him upright as he rolled out to his right. And then as Chris let the ball go, it's tipped, intended out there for T.J. Jones and almost picked off.
Yeah.
Ben Turk now to punt inside his own 10-yard line. High in the air, fair catch. Taken, almost interference on the fair catch at the 44-yard line.
I think Michigan State on this first down play with good field position, they need to go after a big chunk play again here in their passing game. Notre Dame has been fairly stout on the early down runs, but they've got to get some big chunk plays out of their passing game and then still be able to balance it with the run.
Saw Ethan Johnson, who was shaken up on that last series, back in at defensive end for the Irish. There's the play fake. Wanted to go to his tight end, and then he forces it to him and got it to him for a pickup of 5. Linthicum, big target at 6'5", made the catch, his first of the night.
Notre Dame does a nice job of taking away the primary receivers down the field. Linthicum is kind of the outlet guy, the underneath throw, and Cousins has to wait for him to clear the linebacker to make the throw. It's a good completion against pretty good defense.
Cousins perfect this half, 7 for 7. They're going to need some more of it. Here he is off play action. Pump fakes. Now he's going to go for the home run all the way to the end zone. And it's interference on Zeke Mata. DJ Cunningham was out there. Cousins threw that baby a long ways.
And that's the kind of play I thought they needed to go with.
Defense, number 17. 15-yard penalty from the previous line scrimmage. Automatic. First down.
Again, these safeties, they have no substitutions. They're in there a lot. Zeke Mata is fighting for his life on this play. Single coverage on a big-time receiver in Cunningham. And does what the only thing he could do is foul him.
With 9:07 remaining in the 4th quarter. Michigan State at the Notre Dame 36-yard line. Baker, the tailback, in the eye. They pitch it to him. Edwin Baker trying to get to the edge. Did. First down and more.
Edwin Baker, the ball carrier.
And he's upset he didn't stay in bounds, but I don't think he had much more room to work over there. He got 14.
Well, we've seen Keyshawn Martin be a big-time receiver. Watch him come in here and get a huge block that gets Baker to the edge. Gets a block right on that corner, gets Baker to the edge of the defense, and picks up the first down.
And that's not the first good block Martin's had out there tonight. Nichols had a couple holding calls, but number 82 has been tough, sticking his nose in there, keeping those runs alive. Bell takes Baker's spot. Cousins loads and then gets back what he can as he's sacked by Darius Fleming.
Take you back to that first half, though. The interception he threw in the red zone. He forced something. It wasn't there and he forced it. That's a good decision. Even though they lose a yard, it's better than forcing a bad throw at this point in the game and this place on the field. Live to play another play.
And that play is 2nd down and 12. It'll come inside the 8-minute mark. 2 tight end set. And Cousins pumps. Wanted to go deep. Picks up his blockers. And throws complete. Touchdown. Cunningham. And we're an extra point away from another tie.
Well, this was all a result of the adjustment to the scramble. Now Cunningham steps out of bounds, but he comes right back in And because he got right back in after being forced out, he can still go for the football. And Cousins stayed with him for the touchdown.
Conroy's extra point, all importance and good. What a second half we've had.
Media timeout.
Each team has answered the other's call.
Kirk Cousins didn't force it the play before. He lives to play another play. He makes the scramble, his receiver adjusts, and he lives to make a touchdown.
A moon over Spartan Stadium, and 78,411 have gotten their money's worth, haven't they? It was tied at 7 at halftime, and now with 7:43 remaining, 28-28, Notre Dame and Michigan State. Brad Nessler, Todd Blackledge, Holly Rowe with you. And only the 9th night game in Spartan Stadium history. Short kick. Sierra Wood camped under it at the 15 and got it out to about the 28-yard line. That's where Notre Dame will go back to work. What a great second half we've had.
We'll go back and look at this touchdown. Now watch when Kirk Cousins scrambles. He's going to redirect Cunningham. And this official, for those of you in HD, you'll be able to see this. This official is going to see Cunningham get forced out of bounds. And he's going to take his hat off. But because he came right back in, after he was forced out, he's able to be the first guy to touch the ball and go for the catch. He stays with the play. Cousins stays with the play. It's the right call. And Michigan State is able to tie the football game. If he runs out of bounds on his own and not forced out, it's a different situation.
Notre Dame now. From its own 33-yard line. Allen. Christ flushed to his left and in trouble. Got away again. Two Spartans knocked each other off the quarterback. And he scrambles for about 9 yards.
Well, you just don't get that many opportunities. In the backfield, clean shot at a quarterback. And not one, but two guys not able to wrap him up. William Golston and Jonathan Strayhorn, neither one able to get Dane Christ on the ground. And they both did the same thing. Shucks.
3rd down and 2. Here comes a blitz. Option. Keeper didn't get there. Denzel Drone made the tackle on Christ. It'll be 4th down at about a yard.
We wondered which defense would rise up and make a play. This looked like maybe an audible check to try to get the 1st down, and he stood up right before he gets to the play.
Brian Kelly leaves his offense on the field. They may try to draw Michigan State offside. If not, 4th and a huge one for the Irish in their own territory. Here they go. Christ in trouble. He lost the ball. Michigan State's got it.
Well, first of all, I don't understand the call. It's a tie ball game. There's 6 minutes left. You're in your other team's territory. Why not punt the football? Now you go for it, and the ball's going to get knocked out by his own guy. Zach Martin, number 70, knocked it away from Dane Christ, and Chris Norman's going to come up with it for Michigan State. I mean, I'm all for being aggressive, but it's 28-28. You're on the road, and now Michigan State has it on your side of the 50.
Best starting field position for Michigan State. They'd like to pound about 6 minutes off this clock, get a field goal, and head to the locker room. They'd be happy with that. Here's Baker. Oh, what a play by Teo. Wow.
Could not have come at a better time for Notre Dame. Teo is so instinctive. He's big, he's hard to block, and he's quick. And he gets into that backfield and wraps him up for a big loss.
A 6-yard loss. They're all the way back to midfield. So now second down at 16. Cousins in the gun. Gonna flare it out. And Baker's dropped. A good play by Gary Gray.
Good play by Gary Gray. Better play by the turf monster.
Yeah.
He had him out there one-on-one, sized him up, and got a little help from the grass.
Look at the yardage tonight. Michigan State, there's that deceiving time of possession that Todd was talking about earlier. Almost the same amount of plays by each team. Here's a play that Michigan State needs. Third down and 14. They want to set up a screen. Notre Dame had it smelled out, and Bell only got back to the 42. So it's too far away for a field goal attempt.
This is really a good play by Ian Williams, the nose guard. He didn't get the tackle, but he slowed down the action. Watch the guy right in the center. Read the screen, run out there. He doesn't get the tackle, but he slows up Bell enough to allow Teo to get there to stop him short of the first down.
And Notre Dame is going to avoid that huge botched play and the fumble, apparently. Survive it anyway.
Wow.
Michigan State set to punt. Bates, end over end punt, fair catch, taken at the 9. Notre Dame came up with a big stop on first down on Baker. That set the MSU offense back. They had to give it up. Notre Dame's got it when we come back. Todd, Notre Dame lost over 30 yards in field position by going for it on fourth down, but they do get the ball back.
They got the ball back, but at their own 9. The field position battle here belongs to Michigan State.
Christ fires in and out of the hands of his intended receiver, Armando Allen.
I'm all for being aggressive. I mean, going back to that fourth down try that failed, but they were on their own 42 when they did that. If they punt the football and try to help their defense out, at least they have the field position edge for the last 5 minutes of the game. As it stands, Michigan State is going to control field position unless Notre Dame hits a couple big plays here.
Here's a sprint draw coming back the other way, and Allen's got a first down. Nice run, 14 yards for Armando Allen.
Misdirection really fooled the Michigan State defense. Dane Christ was rolling to his right. He handed it back. The whole Michigan State defense was flowing towards the right. Well-designed play and a nice run by Armando Allen.
Remember, Notre Dame's got all its timeouts remaining. We're down under 3.5 minutes. Tie game at 28. Christ flares it out to Allen with blockers in front. Armando Allen, another first down. Ball came out, but it goes out of bounds. And he's got a first down out close to the 35. Let's check in with Holly.
Guys, it's important to keep this drive going to give this Notre Dame defense a break on the sidelines right now. Many of these guys have been in there every single play, like Harrison Smith. They're tired. They're trying to stay on the bike to stave off cramps. But their coach, Kerry Cooks, the linebacker coach, has been in their grill saying, guys, we have to finish this week. Remember, last week against Michigan, they didn't. They keep chanting over here, finish.
Christ going to throw this one away wisely. Leggy's 29 out of 50. 357 yards and 4 touchdowns, all career highs. We're watching a quarterback grow up in front of our eyes.
Absolutely. I mean, he just, the longer he plays, the better he gets. And again, it's his vision. He's seeing the field. That right there, a good decision to throw it away, and he has been really accurate tonight when he sets his feet.
His 51st pass of the night might be coming up right here. It is, and it's on target, but it's short of the first down. Riddick's got another catch. 10th catch tonight for Theo Riddick. And when Brian Kelly told us, you guys are going to see a lot of number 6 this week, he wasn't kidding.
Well, he said we got to get more production out of our slot receiver, Theo Riddick. I'd say he got what he wanted.
The fans know that this is the biggest third down of the night. Everybody's up.
I'd say keep your eye on Rudolph again. He's up here on the top.
Christ has all day. Throws complete, but it's short of the first down. Courtesy of Johnny Adams' tackle on T.J. Jones.
Boy, great coverage down the field by Michigan State because you're right. He had all day to throw. And he came off his second, third, and fourth receiver and still came up short of the first down.
All right, last time, 4th and 1 at the 42. This time, 4th and 1 at the 43.
You got to punt. You got to punt the ball. I mean, you got away with it the last time. I mean, he got lucky the last time. Your defense, put them in a good position. If you go to overtime, you go to overtime and you try to win it there.
I just wanted to see your eyes get all red over there. Here's the kick. It's a high, deep punt. Fair catch at the 14 by Keyshawn Martin. So Michigan State has got all its timeouts remaining. They've got 1:44 left. Big Ten storylines today. Terrell Pryor had another big game. And the Buckeyes rolled 43-7. Denard Robinson, 345 total yards, 3 touchdowns. And it was a survival by Michigan over UMass. And then Wisconsin got a big win in the craziest of ways. They block an extra point by Arizona State to hold on in Madtown. So the Big Ten's doing okay, and they could put an asterisk or an exclamation point out if they can beat Notre Dame.
Well, and this one's going to go right down to the wire like so many of these games have.
What a catch by Martin. He reached out and snared that. Looked like it was going to be too far in front of the intended receiver, but he picked up positive yardage, got it out to about the 19. As far as kicking, we mentioned Conroy had 3 field goals in the win last week, the longest of which was 50 yards, his career long. Kirk Cousins has hit his last 11 passes. He's got 139 and all his timeouts to work with. Cousins with time, fires in the middle of the field, got his tight end gain, and it's a first down for the Spartans.
Clock will stop while they reset the chains. As a quarterback, this is the situation that you live for. This is what you dream about. Leading your team down the field, tie ball game, under a minute and a half for a game-winning opportunity.
Remember last year it went awry when Kirk threw an interception late in the game. Here he's going to eat one back at the 21-yard line, and that was a train wreck from the get-go right there.
Yeah, that was bad. All receivers covered and all rushers unblocked.
That's a bad combination.
Protect the football and protect yourself.
3rd sack of Cousins on the night. So down to 2 timeouts for Michigan State. 1:10 left. They know they'd like to get it down and try to win in regulation, but worst case scenarios go to overtime.
Yeah. You know, and I think you think that even more so as the home team. You know, if you're a home team taking the game to overtime, you like your chances a little bit better than if you're a visiting team. Maybe you're a little more aggressive if you're the visitor trying to get the win before you would get to overtime. But Kirk Cousins has to be very smart with the football right now.
He's got Nickel, Cunningham, Martin, and Fowler as his wide receivers on 2nd down and 18. Don't need all of it here, but you'd like to get a chunk back. They will, as Bell with a flag down in the backfield. Got it back across the original line of scrimmage, but here's the penalty.
Offense, 59, 10-yard penalty. Replay first down. 2nd down.
10th penalty suffered by Michigan State, and it's DJ Young, the left tackle.
Well, another costly penalty because now it puts you in a really difficult position if you're Michigan State. If you run the football here, Notre Dame's got 3 timeouts. They're going to use timeouts to save as much time to get the ball back. And the penalties now have pushed you back so that the field position situation is swinging towards Notre Dame significantly right now.
60 seconds left in regulation. 28-28. Michael Floyd, Kyle Rudolph.
Timeout, Notre Dame.
On the Notre Dame sideline, hoping to get the ball back before this one's over. Notre Dame takes its first timeouts. 1 minute left. Each team with 2 timeouts. The bad news for Michigan State, courtesy of that holding penalty. Second down and about 2 miles. Le'Veon Bell is behind Cousins, and he'll get the call. And he has stood up in the hole. Maybe got a yard, and that's it.
See, there's the run, and there's the quick timeout by Notre Dame. Now, I don't know why they called the timeout right before this play.
Timeout, Notre Dame. Second of the half, 30-second timeout.
You know, the clock was stopped because of the penalty and an incomplete pass. But anyway.
Third down and 27. We're on a green carpet here, but we've had a great game between Notre Dame and Michigan State for the 74th time. Cousins on 3rd and 27. Flushed out of the pocket. He's over the line of scrimmage, I think, as he throws it away. Flags down.
Well, if he wasn't over the line, there were some offensive linemen that were over the line for sure.
Could have a couple calls here.
Yeah. I want to go back and correct myself on something here, too. I said Notre Dame didn't need to call a timeout. They did, because it was a completed pass on the screen when there was a holding penalty. So after the penalty was marked off, the clock was going to start again. So they had to stop the clock, and they did it twice. Now, this time it was an incomplete pass, so they won't restart the clock.
Legal forward pass. Offense, number 8. The quarterback went across the line of scrimmage, came back, then passed the ball. Loss of down, 5-yard penalty, 4th down.
That black line is the line of scrimmage.
Yep.
And Kirk Cousins is just trying to find a place to go with that football.
So now Notre Dame will get the ball around midfield, and they still have 1 timeout left. So again, the decision to punt on the last 4th down, flip the field, and at least gives Dane Christ and their offense a chance to get in position.
Aaron Bates is in his own end zone. Set to punt. And now the Spartans readjust their front and their protection. This is a nice kick, but it could be returnable. It is from the 39. No flag. Yes, now the flag comes in. Illegal block in the back. Low Wood, I think, is the guilty party. He tried to get in front of the guy trying to make the tackle, and he just couldn't get him around. And so there goes some of the good field position.
Well, we've seen some costly penalties, haven't we?
No
I mean,
kidding.
really
During the return,
costly.
legal block in the back. On the return team, number 23. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the infraction. 1st down.
Here you see it. You see number 23, and he's trying to put the brakes on, and oh, he's barely touched him.
When in doubt, clear out. You know, I mean, don't even be around it close enough to get that call. It wasn't much contact. But the guy who made the call from far away, it looked like an illegal block. The net result, 59 yards for Michigan State, a 49-yard punt, 10-yard penalty, and Notre Dame now back inside their own 30-yard line.
After seeing that again, I don't think that was a penalty, but it was a penalty. I just don't think it was a foul. The flag had flown. And now we'll see if Notre Dame can fly down the field in a half-minute to try to set up their field goal kicker. Junior quarterback Dane Christ. Deep middle, overshot everybody. Closest man was Marcus Hyde, number 11.
Boy, did you see Jarrell Worthy? Jarrell Worthy guessed on the snap count and ran right over top of the center, Braxton Cade. And I think that affected the pass. He just drove right over top of the center and got back into the way of Dane Christ and forced the high throw.
I know one thing, Christ had to bend over to get that snap for sure, so he took his eyes off the field. There's no doubt about that. Notre Dame only one timeout remaining. 27 seconds remaining in regulation. Sprint draw, Armando Allen. He's cut down after he got about 5. And now it's starting to look more and more like an overtime situation in East Lansing. And Brian Kelly knows it, and he puts his play sheet away and says, okay, let's do this a little bit longer. The game's been great. Now somebody's going to win it in overtime. Who will it be? Michigan State or Notre Dame? End of regulation, 28 apiece. I don't think you want to go anywhere.
Welcome to overtime. We went over the rules and regulations with your coaches. So home team, visitors, you're going to call it in the air. Okay. The Marine Corps emblem is tails. American flag is heads. What's your call?
Tails.
Call is tails.
Tails.
It is heads. Michigan State.
We'll defer and play defense first.
Okay, you want to play. Okay, you want to play defense.
Yes.
Okay, you want to play defense. So you're going to go on offense. Which end of the field? On this end of the field. Okay. Michigan State has won the toss. They like to go on defense. Notre Dame will be on offense. We'll play at the north end of the stadium. Okay.
So overtime, each team gets a shot. As you take the rules, we already got the toss. Each team with one possession at the 25-yard line until a winner is decided. You got to go for a 2-point conversion starting with the third overtime. The coin toss, it almost seems to me, is the most important play of overtime. Yeah. Because now you know, and if you know the first team gets a field goal, you know you got to go for a touchdown or a field goal to tie.
Right. You want to play defense first. I thought both teams made the right decision. Michigan State chose to play defense.
Right.
Notre Dame chose to go to this end, away from the student section, a smaller end zone section. So the right decision by both teams here to start overtime.
We had a great second half. If you just joining us, it was 7-7 at halftime. The third quarter was a lot of electricity. We had 4 70-yard plus drives between the two teams. And then one more touchdown in the fourth quarter by each. And now we start overtime at Spartan Stadium. Empty backfield, but Allen's going to trot back there and flank Dane Christ. Throw is high and incomplete, intended for Riddick.
That ball looked like it got tipped or something. It kind of came out of there funny. I don't know if it just came out of his hand funny or if it did get tipped, but the ball didn't look right when it got to the receiver.
There you go.
Yeah, it did.
Yep. It was Jarrell Worthy that changed the trajectory of that ball. It's second down at 10. Floyd at a slot on the right side. They'll keep it on the ground. Allen weaving his way, took a big shot as he got about 6 yards, maybe 7 on the carry.
It was a nice bit of running because he had to kind of pick and weave his way through there. Didn't look like he had much. He ended up getting 7.
Third down at 3. Spartan defense trying to force a field goal attempt. Allen will flush out of that backfield. Chris, quick throw. Rudolph is decked short of the first down. What a hit by Chris L. Rucker.
Well, Michigan State, Pat Narduzzi, the defensive coordinator, they were pretty confident the ball was going to go to Rudolph in that situation. They like to throw that flat route to him a lot, and they hit him high and didn't allow him to go forward for the first down.
David Ruffler's hit 9 straight field goals, 9 for 9 in his career, 4 for 4 so far this season. A 33-yard field goal attempt by the Irish to try to take the lead. Kick on the way, and it's good. But as we said, now Michigan State knows what they need.
Really beautiful defense by Michigan State on third down. They expected Rudolph to catch it. They love to run the little quick flare, and watch how high Rucker went for the tackle. He wasn't going to hit him low and allow the big tight end to fall forward for the first down. He went high, knocked him backwards, and forced the field goal attempt.
So now the Spartan offense will head out there knowing they need 3 to send it to a second overtime. A touchdown wins it.
Last year, Kirk Cousins had his team in a position. They're going to go Wildcat. No, they're not. Cousins is under center. He had his team in position with 57 seconds left through an interception on a second down play to seal the win for Notre Dame.
Ledgey's perfect in this half, or in the second half, I should say. 12 for 12. Here he is on a pitch and a loss. Edwin Baker, Brian Smith made a nice stop. So the Spartans put themselves in a long yardage situation on second down with that opening run.
Yeah, this was a good play by Brian Smith. They were trying to crack back on him, and he knew it. So he got across the line of scrimmage. You see the receiver, Cunningham, coming into the screen. He was going to crack back on the linebacker, and Brian Smith felt it and read it and got across the line and made the play before the block could get to it.
Over 900 yards of total offense tonight. Notre Dame leading in overtime by 3. Michigan State second down and 11 now. Cousins, quick drop, pump fake, waits. Now he's going to take off with it. He's got a blocker in front, and he got inside the 20.
This was good coverage by Gary Gray, number 4. They tried to go for the touchdown with a little pump fake and out and up, and Gary Gray did not get fooled. They thought they could beat him with the out and up move and get the touchdown and leave the stadium winners, and Gary Gray didn't bite on it.
He got some valuable yardage back after that lost yardage on the first play. The scramble got him inside the 20, where it's third down and 5. The only thing that could mess things up right now is making a critical error. What they want to do is pick up 5 yards. If they have to, they'll kick the field goal and go to a second overtime. Cousins. That's the kind of problem they didn't want. Fleming and Smith combine on the stop. 4th sack. And now Dan Conroy, number 4, standing right next to his coach. It's all on his leg.
Well, he made a 50-yarder last week against Florida Atlantic, but that was in Ford Field, indoors, up in Detroit.
This is going to be a 46-yard field goal attempt to try to send it to a second overtime. Conroy, it's a fake. Bates is going to throw. He's going to run. Touchdown! Michigan State wins it in overtime. The call of the year.
Crazy Saturday night. Notre Dame and Michigan State. Brian Kelly, his first road game as the Irish head coach. Fourth quarter, we're locked up at 21. Dane Christ to Michael Floyd, Lou.
Oh, just a great catch there by Michael Floyd. Also an outstanding pass, a great concentration.
Chris threw for 369 and 4 touchdowns. Floyd caught 2 of them. Kirk Cousins of Michigan State. Rolling, looking, B.J. Cunningham, touchdown, tied at 28. But take another look, Mark. Cunningham go out of bounds?
Yes, he did.
Think he was forced out?
No, he wasn't.
Then this should not have counted. You cannot go out of bounds and be the first guy to come in and touch it. Referees apparently thinking Cunningham was forced out. We went to overtime. Notre Dame kicked a field goal. Sparty now looking at a 3rd and 5. Cousins. Oh, Darius Fleming gets him an 8-yard loss here on the edge of field goal range, but Antonio's going to try to tie it up and get it into double overtime. Now keep an eye on the play clock here. In the red, 0. Delay of game, they didn't call it. Aaron Bates, it's trickeration. Charlie Gant. And on the banks of the Old Red Cedar, there's a school that's known to all. Its specialty was a trick play, and old Aaron Bates threw a good ball. The former high school quarterback from John Glenn High School of the Little Muskies in New Concord, Ohio. A moment for the ages. Michigan State does it 34-31. D'Antonio, what guts?
We've got an inexperienced kicker, and there's a long kick. So he said, hey, let's go. By the way, the name of that play is Little Giants.
Little Giants indeed. What did Coach Kelly say? He just complimented you on the call.
Yeah, he said gutsy call.
He said something else on the sideline, too, it appeared. Glad to have you with us. College football final. Reese Davis, Lou Holtz, and Mark May here. Little Giants, D'Antonio said, because he likes to name his trick plays after movies. They put it in on Wednesday, and Charlie Gant, Lou, said, I didn't get the ball one time in practice, but he got it when it counted. Why did that work so well for Michigan State?
Well, first of all, when you go against a team that's going to try a long field goal, you have to make sure no fake's going to be successful. That means you have to cover both ends, you have to cover both slot backs, and you have to cover either the holder or the kicker. Notre Dame did all that to perfection. Notice how well they cover him. The problem is the defensive back gets knocked down when he collides with the tight end. Notice that initially there was nobody open, but he came open because the defensive back fell down, and not because Notre Dame wasn't prepared to defend this play.
I don't know about covering to perfection because the tight end was wide open for a touchdown, but to me, for Mark D'Antonio, the head coach of Michigan State, you either have to have a lot of guts or a long-term contract to make a call like that in overtime against Notre Dame.
Both.
They played extremely well on offense in this game. They were very well balanced. They rushed for over 200 yards. They threw for over 200 yards in this game, but it came down to the end to make a call like that in overtime against Notre Dame at home. That better be a 10-year guaranteed contract.
Hey, I made that call before when I had a poor kicker. He isn't going to make it anyway. What difference does it make? But I'll tell you, it was well executed by Notre Dame. I know when initially it happened, I thought, oh, somebody must have made a mistake, but they did.
Oh, but also well executed by Michigan State.
Oh, absolutely. Let's give them credit for that. Absolutely.
Especially you have a guy who harkened back to his high school quarterback days. No high school pass will ever match that moment of throwing a touchdown pass on a fake field goal to beat the Fighting Irish.
Well, we just saw a play that will be part of Michigan State history for many years to come.
Now, no question, Michigan State remains undefeated. Notre Dame, 2 heartbreaking losses to schools from the state of Michigan.